Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Shaun.
And Sarah.
And welcome to My Future Has Been Face Fucked podcast, episode 31!
I wasn't a part of 30, so...
No, you weren't.
So, whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of a while ago. That was in January was the last time we recorded one.
I don't really care, because I wasn't a part of it, so it wasn't...
These hot takes.
So it wasn't important.
The state of things. Yeah, so we've stacked up some movies. We've got some stuff to talk about. There probably will be some spoilers in here. What we got on the docket for the main stuff, we're going to talk a little bit about Deadpool. Not a ton to say about Deadpool. Talk about The Witch, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane. And we'll probably end up spoiling those.
All of them.
I'll be honest with you.
All of them.
Probably all of them. It's really hard to have a conversation about like movies in like a general sense. I cannot stand listening to people
broad strokes
broadly talk about something. So just be warned, there are going to be some spoilers. But before we get into the movies that we've watched, we've also watched a bunch of trailers, because trailers are out all the time. And before we saw Cloverfield Lane today, there was like 2 hours of trailers.
That's what, yeah. I used to love... I would get so mad... We talked about this earlier. It was like, I get so mad being late to a movie because you would miss the trailers.
Yeah.
Even if I had already somehow seen the trailer, I still like seeing them in...
the big screen?
Movies.
Yeah.
In movie theater. But then when you add on top of it commercials...
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes of commercials, 20 minutes of trailers.
And then today we got, like, repeated the, like, intro commercial for the theater we saw it in.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Right before they played the movie. So it was like, before they started the trailers, they played it, and then they played it again at the end of all the trailers. It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of a
that
bummer.
That kind of
like,
stuff bothers me.
I think we've talked about this before.
Probably.
In commercials and movies. In movie theaters, first time I ever noticed it was Gladiator.
Yeah, we have talked about this.
Yeah.
I can't remember which episode. I mean, I put in all the work, but didn't get to be on episd 30. Just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, the landmark episode 30.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Dan came and stole it from you. I mean, technically you were on 30, because I did not count the Star Wars one in the episode numbers. So that's technically you were 30.
Nope.
But we don't live in technically. We live in semantically land. Semantics land.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyways, let's save the old the big trailer, the most controversial trailer for last, because that'll be the most fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But there are a few movies actually that we're looking forward to seeing, kind of like in this coming year. In the next few months, there's some good looking stuff. There's also some bad looking stuff. But just before I forget, because I almost forgot, was Hardcore Henry.
That thought just popped into my brain.
Hardcore Henry, it looks like a first-person shooter video game action movie. And I am a sucker for a gimmick. And it's not because, like, I like gimmicks, but when I hear about somebody doing a gimmick like, oh, this whole movie takes place in a room, this whole movie takes place in a coffin, I get interested to be like, can they do it? Can they pull it off?
Yeah.
You know, so Hardcore Henry has me interested. It aesthetically looks like it's going to be, like, really dumb and fun.
Yeah, that's what I agree, but can I tell you something?
What?
We saw a different version of the trailer.
We saw, like, a TV spot today.
Right.
Yeah. We
saw a different version of the trailer than when I first saw, because when we went and saw Deadpool, was the first time I had seen... I'd seen, like, the movie poster, because it's hanging up at our, like, small local theater.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen the trailer, and I got really excited, because even their music choice made it fun. Like, it just looked fun.
Yeah, the Queen extravaganza. Every action movie is cut to a Queen song now.
Yeah. Like, it seemed fun. Well, except, they made the poor choice of playing them both back-to-back with all the Queen...
Yeah, they played Suicide Squad and Hardcore Henry back-to-back, and it's 2 Queen songs.
So it was just kind of like, whoa.
You're like, why is Queen, like, suddenly the go-to now for marketing? I mean, it works. In both of those trailers, the Suicide Squad, Hardcore Henry, like, gives it, like, the sense of fun.
I still don't care about Suicide Squad.
Well, I know, but I think the trailer, it works in the trailer. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, and it makes it seem fun, and it hits the beats, like... Hardcore Henry probably more because it's...
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think it works better in Hardcore Henry. Yeah. But anyway, the one I saw today is like, I still, like, I really want to see it, but it made me kind of think about it more like, am I going to just end up thinking this is stupid?
Was it a good trailer? Like, and, like, a mediocre movie?
Yeah. That was after seeing that little bit we saw today, just like how they changed, even with the changed tone, because it seemed like it was showing more of just the movie.
It was definitely appealing more to like dude bro video game players. Whereas I think...
Because even one of the quotes was like, it's like this mixed with this, mixed with Call of Duty.
Which it is. I mean, it is. And in fairness, it is. I would say more like Mirror's Edge, it looks like. You know what I'm saying? But,
No, I've never played Mirror's Edge, so I don't know.
Mirror's Edge, first person, like parkour, like more hand-to-hand, like action game. You don't do a lot of shooting.
Like that zombie game you're playing right now?
Dying Light. Yeah, kind of like Dying Light. Oh, well, but more fast-paced. So it kind of reminded me more of Hardcore Henry, like jumping off the sides of walls, like punching people in the face and stuff like that. It is very obviously aping video games on purpose. That is the entire point of it. Like, they even contrive a reason why, like, you don't have the player doesn't talk, and like people are just guiding him through like a video game. It looks like a linear video game.
I think they should have done a Hitman movie like that.
I don't know. Yeah, if you were going to do a Hitman movie that worked, like I think that would be interesting. I didn't see the last Hitman.
From the little bits of like the games I've seen, I think it'd be fun to have a first-person Hitman movie. You could actually like sneak up behind people and like choke them with something like a string.
Well, that's the thing about like the weird thing when like we go into like video games being made into movies that are already influenced by movies, so it's like a snake eating its own tail. And like,
what?
Why would you focus on the plot of like Hitman if you're making a Hitman movie? You need to make something akin to Hardcore Henry or like a John Wick or The Raid, where it's like plot is very secondary in those movies.
Yeah,
like,
oh, don't you dare say that about John Wick.
John Wick is more of a fucking Hitman movie than Hitman.
John Wick, someone fucking killed his puppy.
Somebody killed his goddamn dog that his wife left for him posthumously.
So don't you dare talk about secondary story with that movie, sir.
Oh, I love John Wick.
I cried about that. Oh, we just spoiled John Wick.
Oh, that's not in the first fight. It's in the trailer.
I know.
Like a man and his dog. They killed his dog. Now he wants revenge.
Yeah, I cried a little bit when that puppy got killed. I did. Not gonna lie.
I love John Wick, actually.
Yeah.
It's a great, straightforward... we're living in, like, this golden age of the straightforward action movie, and it's, like, super cool. Also kind of kicked off by The Raid and Dread. Even though Dread was, like, critics liked it, but it was a box office bomb. Like, it was so bombed.
Good.
But, yeah. Anyways, Hardcore Henry. And curious.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic that I'll have fun.
Hopefully.
Hopefully
we won't have any fuddy-duddies sitting behind us like we did today. I hate that shit. We'll get to that.
What other trailers did we see? We saw the new Huntsman trailer, which neither of us have seen Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah, no. I have no desire to see it.
And this one's like a prequel to that movie, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's about the evil queen.
I've always heard Charlize Theron was really good, and it's like not a terrible movie, the first one. Like, she's good in the movie.
Well, this one looks a little silly.
But it's funny.
Her mirror throat.
It's basically setting it up like fucking... like a Lord of the Rings-esque...
Yeah, high fantasy
movie. And then they kick in, like, this trip-hop, like, soundtrack. Like, and, like, a bunch of, like, cheesy, like... I don't know. Like, one-liners and, like, action
Chris Hemsworth, like,
beats.
gliding through the sky with his axe out towards a ice castle.
Yeah. Which... I would be fine on itself. It's a fantasy movie. Like, I get it. I'm cool with that. But, like...
her mirror throat.
This, like, real appeal to, like, the teenage and, like, mid-20s set, like, the millennial set of, like, look at this fucking... doesn't this look fucking badass? It's like, I don't know if it's really that kind of movie where it's, like... That's like saying, like, if they had marketed Narnia that way. Like, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because it's kind of a similar story.
Actually, we should... Now I want to go back and find a trailer.
And recut it with, like, some
music.
Some trip-hop or some, what do you call it? The hell's that?
Dubstep.
Dubstep works in trailers, though. I can't listen to it as, like, music, but I think it works in marketing.
Yeah.
Like, in 30-second, like, little bits. So that just kind of made us laugh in the theater. Like, literally, like, laughing. Because you're just like, what the fuck? Because it starts, like, the first half of the trailer is like a normal fantasy movie. And you're like, okay. And it's kind of got that, like, normal fantasy kind of traditional score. And then it goes into this, like...
Wah, 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 wah. You're like, okay. I still like her mirror throat.
The mirror throat was pretty sweet.
Now with the powers of the mirror.
Well, just like that's like.
Well, I don't know if that even. I like we said, I haven't seen the other one, so I don't know what they.
It's like, you know, what's the weird thing about like movies like that, and even like Batman versus Superman. Like, they greenlight these movies, they make them, but they don't believe that people will go see them unless they already know the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, Huntsman, like, that shows you every major beat of that story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm talking, like, major plot beats, like the two sister witches, evil queens or whatever.
Not witches.
Or whatever they are. I don't know what they are.
They're queens.
The two queens and,
they're
like...
enchanted queens, Shaun. Not fucking witches. We'll get to some witches in a minute.
And then they show you, like, the relationship with the huntsman and the evil queen. And then they kind of show you that he fights them at the end, and that he teams up with Emily Blunt's good witch, I'm assuming, or good queen, whatever she ends up being, because of a misunderstanding.
She's the ice queen.
Yeah, she's the ice queen, but, like, I'm pretty sure it's heavily implied that Charlize Theron, like, tricks her into becoming the ice queen.
Well, it's not she tricks her. They told you what happened in the trailer.
Yeah.
Killed her baby. Because it was
going
to be
that,
prettier.
But she is not the one that, like, Emily Blunt's character does not know that when it happens. Because Charlize Theron's consoling her. Like, so, like, it's going to be like, oh, you're the one.
This is Frozen 2.0.
Frozen 2.0, indeed.
Let it go.
So I can't with my baby.
Actually, I think they're working on Frozen 2.
Would not surprise me. It was a very successful film.
Oh, so. I've never even seen it, and I want it to go away.
Yeah, I've never seen that one
I see
either.
that fucking snowman every store we go into. Those and the Minions.
It's kind of weird, like, and I'm sure there are some good ones out there, but I have kind of lost all interest in watching, like, kids movies. Like, in the sense, like...
You're just preparing for when we have kids. We'll have to watch them, like...
I'm sure I'll catch up, right? So,
or watch, like, 3 of them ad nauseum.
Yeah, the same one over and over again. So we gotta get some good ones. Gotta get, like, The Incredibles.
I love The Incredibles. Actually, one of the people at the movie theater today, because, like, at our theater, they list, like, their favorite movies on their name badges. The concessions guy was The Incredibles. Guy at the ticket office, Super Troopers. I don't know about that guy.
I don't know about that guy either. I think Super Troopers is incredibly overrated.
I think it's funny, but not favorite movie funny.
No. That's like...
Broken Lizard,
That's all they ever did was Super Troopers that was successful.
No, well, they did...
That people gave a shit about. Then there was Beer Fest.
Yeah, Beer Fest.
Then there was, like, Club Dead. Club Dead, is that what it was?
I thought it was Club Dread.
Was it Club Dread? Maybe it was Club Dread. I never saw
they're
them.
filming Super Troopers too.
And they did their successful Kickstarter, Indiegogo or something like that, and raised some cashola for it. So look forward to seeing that and on the theater near
Yeah. All right, so some other trailers we saw. What else we see today?
We saw the Civil War trailer again, which is not the new.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Civil War trailer.
The new Civil War trailer isn't that much different, other than it shows Spider-Man.
And there's also rumblings of the Hulk. So, he'll be in it.
Probably, I imagine. If all the rest are, why wouldn't he be in it? You know what I mean? Like,
because Ruffalo is just doing his own thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know, but
I don't know. Like,
I finally saw stills of Spider-Man. I haven't seen the trailer. It looks stupid.
It looks just like the stills. Like, it doesn't look any better in action. It looks just CGI. He looks like a cartoon character.
He looks like the Green Lantern suit.
Not that bad, but like something like that. Yeah, he's like looks plastic. Like
even the way flat, he's like kind of flat.
Even the way like the light was like bouncing off of the costume, like obviously done with CGI, made him look shiny, and I was like, why? What the fuck?
I felt like the stills I saw, he looked flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just coming off of like whether you like or dislike the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies or the Amazing Spider-Man, which are bad movies, just bad movies in general. Those costumes are really good. Those are awesome practical costumes. So to see it then like go backwards in a weird way.
Well, I mean
you'd even see they're definitely CGIing his eyes.
Well, they're even like CGIing their major villains now. So who cares?
I mean,
whatever.
In all honesty, like I'm hypercritical of the Marvel movies.
Yes, you are.
Well, because they've just saturated they've fundamentally changed what movies get made, and like for the worse, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's oversaturation. You cannot go a day without something being announced, or a trailer dropping, or an image, or an interview with somebody. Like inundates every movie blog. Everything has been catered to.
That's how I'm starting to feel about like Suicide Squad.
Well, that's
but that's
part. It's all part of it. Like it's just the oversaturation of superhero stuff. And I say this as like a fucking nerd. Like, waiting my whole life. Like, I like almost cried when I watched the first Spider-Man in theaters. Like,
you probably did, actually.
Me and my dad were so happy and excited with that movie.
Yeah.
So like, and I do think most of the Marvel movies are incredibly overrated. Like, you can't have like, even if like say like people want to write about them or whatever, it's really hard to have like genuine conversation about it without people being like weird and fanboyish about these properties that they have no stakes in.
Well, I can't
They're just
say
fans
anything.
of it.
I can't say anything.
Oh, we saw the X-Men Apocalypse trailer.
I'm very excited for that.
I am too. Which is weird because I'm sure people would be like, "Well, you like the fucking Bryan Singer X-Men movies." I don't know. Is like, I think generally they're
Shaun just like skeevy guys.
I generally think they're better told stories. They're better made
No,
movies.
and I really like the cast they have in like this.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, like Michael Fassbender's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, the first class people, the younger versions, are all awesome.
I don't know. Michael Fassbender's awesome as Magneto.
Actually, the worst one in in Days of Future Past, the first class, like Jennifer Lawrence is a little flat.
J-Law.
She's a little flat in those
and that's
movies.
your boo.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of cool off on J-Law. I mean, I think
J-Law.
I think she's a good actress, but I do think like some of it's like gone to her head and the heads of people that work with her in the wrong way.
After Joy,
that really was. Joy was not a great movie. No, I wouldn't say the worst movie I've ever seen or anything, but very middle of the road, very like mediocre film. But Jennifer Lawrence is like one of the worst parts of that movie.
Yeah.
And then she got a bunch of accolades for it, which was confusing because you're just like, she clearly is not old enough to be this person. Like, you don't buy it at all.
And it was
she's
right
this
after
struggling fucking mother.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you should have given that to like an older
Isn't
actress.
it right? She made like an equality statement about quality in film.
And then she's taken a role away from somebody that should have been like their mid-30s to almost 40.
Or it should have been like
late 30s
it should have been Meg Ryan's comeback film.
Meg Ryan's a little too old for that.
I'm joking.
I don't know who it would have been.
Sally
but
Field,
like,
because she can do anything.
It should have been somebody that was older, just because you just don't buy it. Like, you look like a little girl playing dress-up. And I don't mean that to be like condescending or whatever, but that's what it looks like. Same thing with American Hustle, the David O. Russell movie she was in.
Yeah.
She was like too young to be somebody's like
Christian
alcoholic ex-wife. Like, you're like, I don't buy this.
Were they exes in that movie?
Or
they were still married.
Or was they married and she was just having an affair? Mm-hmm. Okay. Or was he having an affair on her? No, he wasn't cheating on her. I don't even fucking barely remember that movie. It's very like, it's like ephemera, that movie. Like,
yeah.
Like, I was fine with it and I never thought about it again after I
think I was the same way. What else do we see?
But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, actually, it looks interesting. Like, it might be bad, but it looks like they're trying something that's a little outside the box, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that the same thing in defense of, like, Batman versus Superman. I'm just, like, curious more than, like, I think it's going to be good or bad. I'm just curious. Because, like, that movie could totally be, like, a train wreck fucking failure, but it'll at least probably be interesting either way.
Yeah, I wish I could say that about Suicide Squad.
I think Suicide Squad's going to be fine. Like, I just don't...
I don't. We should make a bet.
That's because you're hung up on, like, the Harley Quinn stuff. That's why.
Well, no. I also am kind of done with Will Smith.
When was the last time you watched a movie with Will Smith?
Like a while ago.
Like 6 years ago?
I'm done with him.
After 7 pounds, it was just it.
Yep,
I was done.
That's it.
I'm done.
No, I just think he's overrated. And...
I think his personal ego, like his real life stuff, gets in the way a lot. Yeah. It does. It really does. Especially with this whole, like, the concussion controversy and him not getting an Academy Award and, like, spitefully they're like, nah, but Oscar's so white. Which seems, like, very petty.
Actually,
on their part.
Oscar's so gold.
Yeah, seriously.
Literally.
They're gold.
God.
That's what people should be talking. It should be about a classist thing. It shouldn't be about a racist thing. Anyways.
You also saw Star Trek?
Yeah, we saw it again, which that trailer is really old and I had completely forgotten about it.
I didn't even know there was going to be a new Star Trek movie. Can I be honest?
Really?
Yeah. As soon as I saw Scotty, I was like, oh god. Like, literally in my brain, I was like, ugh.
I feel like I probably will watch it because I really like Carl Urban, and Carl Urban does not get enough like good roles.
And he had a good like bit in the trailer. So
yeah, just like in the other movies.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy Carl. I think that the cast of the Star Trek movies are great. Like,
just that the movies aren't that great.
They're a lot of fun. No, I think the first one, even though it's full of plot holes, doesn't have a great villain.
Into Darkness, though?
Super entertaining. Into Darkness is just like the grim, dark version of the first one. Yes. I always say bark at the moon for Transformers.
Mm-hmm. Into Darkness.
There you go. That's your Transformers quota.
Yes!
Mentioned on the podcast. If you're a long-time listener, which you probably aren't.
Oh, hi, Paul.
Generally, we mention Transformers somehow. It'll come up. And that there you go.
That's my goal. Actually, I wonder if Transformers got brought up in episode 30. Probably not.
Mm-mm.
It's ridiculous. Ugh. No, I mean, Into Darkness was like, watching that was kind of like, I felt my brain melt a little bit, because I was just oh.
I never felt like that. I just felt like it was very just middle of the road, and then it treads too much of the same territory, like thematically, and like the character arcs are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Where Kirk is just becoming the captain again, and has to learn responsibility. Like, so you're just like...
Oh, crazy Kirk.
Okay.
Wild card.
Like, didn't we do this already? I mean, which was the weirdest thing about that. Is like, I could understand, like, if another director had stepped in and done that.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot in, like, franchise. The second movie is directed by somebody else, and they kind of just rehash the other one because it's safe. But no, it was J.J. Abrams, who I firmly believe is a very mediocre director, but, like, just has got himself attached to, like, giant properties and stuff, but...
So what's the way to do it?
That's how you do it, man. He's friends with Steven Spielberg. That's really what it comes down to. He wants to be Steven Spielberg. For sure, he does. He even tried to make a Steven Spielberg ripoff movie called Super 8.
Yeah.
Which fails. It's like almost a good movie. So all of his movies...
Did I finish Super 8? I don't think I finished it.
Did you even watch it at all?
I started it, I think.
It was on Netflix for a long time.
Yeah, I think I started it and I never finished it.
All of his movies are just so close to being like good movies. Like, always just a little bit off. Just a little bit off.
Well, that's how, and then he keeps getting, like, oh, maybe this time.
There's enough, like...
So he knows what to do.
There's enough, like, laziness in the writing where you're always just, like... It's always just, like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. But the last trailer we saw... Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is I guess the trailer that dropped earlier this week. The Ghostbusters. The new Ghostbusters trailer. Which now, you cannot say you don't like... Or if you don't like it, you have to not like it because it's racist, but not because of it just not being funny.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, too, is... I don't know. When I first heard about the remake, I was like, no. No, I was like... You remember?
I agree. I was... Why?
Yeah, I was like, no.
I didn't even want them to make a third one with the original cast. I was like, why? It's too long. Just fucking let it go. We gotta start letting shit go.
Right. No, but I was just like, no. And then I think you were the one that were like, it was Paul Feig.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, but he's funny, and I agreed. Like,
I like Bridesmaids and I like Spy. Like,
no, I agree. No, I agree. And so I was like, oh, maybe it is just Sarah being Sarah, like, automatically like,
yeah.
But the trailer proved me right.
Yeah, it looks like...
Because that's another trailer that almost, it seems like there's a hint or like every major beat, or hint to, or every major beat of the story's there.
Yeah, like they gave away some stuff that I thought was odd. Like the possession stuff. Like, why would you even put that in the trailer? To service a really bad joke. Yeah. It's actually one of the worst jokes in the fucking... there's not very many jokes, but...
I read part of an interview the other day with Paul Feig where he was saying that Leslie Jones wasn't even, like, supposed to be in it. I should have finished the article, to be honest, but, I was in passing.
Well, because
I had some downtime.
They caught a lot of flack because she's like the streetwise black chick.
No, I know, but I don't think he wanted her, and then by somehow, like, she ended up in the cast, so he just went with it.
Well, they went into that foray of, like, the social pressure stuff. People, like, putting a lot of just their ideological bents and beliefs into that movie, into a fucking Ghostbusters movie. Yeah. Because they went down that path because they wanted to make a statement about an all-female Ghostbusters movie, and he's kind of having to fucking eat it now. Yeah. Because they found something to be angry about. Like these just moralist mobs that are out there. And it's, they're small vocal minorities. We're not talking about, like, the average person. The average person doesn't even think about that shit.
Yeah. And then the funniest thing, too, was, like, the other one major reveal, I guess, the trailer that you brought up, with Chris Hemsworth in a Ghostbusters uniform.
Yeah.
That was ruined for me by a Lego set.
By the Lego set, yeah, that came out.
Because I was following because like when they first
and also apparently the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's in it.
Yep.
Like because that was also revealed by the toys. Slimer's in it.
Well,
that was revealed by the trailer.
There's some vomiting lady ghosts.
Which, I mean, this is the thing that also, because you said like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's in it. The trailer like has direct references to the original, so I'm wondering how much it's going to ape the original movie,
or if they're just doing that to get people
interested.
Because
like there's this thing now. It's in the same kind of we had this kind of conversation when we talked about The Force Awakens. Like where do you draw the line at like this like homage and just like leaning too heavily on that stuff?
Yeah, no, I agree, and
like to get people on board just so people feel warm and fuzzy inside. Which in Ghostbusters is weird because Ghostbusters is like amazing. The first Ghostbusters, all-time classic, right?
One of my favorite movies ever.
Me too. Like I've seen that movie 1,000,000 times. I'll probably watch it 1,000,000 more before I die. But like, it's not like this huge fucking franchise that needs to like continue.
I mean, 2 was pretty good.
I wish they had just done another one in the 90s, like when they were still on the train, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ghostbusters 2 was made in a day and age where sequels were not the norm.
Right.
It wasn't really franchises. So it was kind of... And if they did have a franchise, it usually was just 2 movies. Like, there was not, like, this idea of everything has to be a trilogy.
And Lethal Weapon went ahead and did 4.
Lethal Weapon did 4.
Actually...
Totally redeemed itself.
There's 5 now.
Yeah, 6 now.
Yeah,
Thanks to It's Always Sunny.
That's right. No, but, And I was actually kind of excited. One of the things I got excited when they like started releasing pictures and stuff, it looked kind of cool at first. Like from stills, it looked cool. Like we said with Kate McKinnon's character. I mean, I think it's a nod to the like we were talking about the cartoon, but it also just looks like slick. Mm-hmm. And you'd be in like the weird kind of Egon, like And then I got really excited though that Chris Hemsworth was cast as like the nerdy secretary.
Yeah,
which is obviously they're being funny because he's like this hot guy. But then, he's also proved himself to be actually pretty funny.
He is funny.
Yeah. Like,
he's the best part of that vacation movie, that terrible vacation movie.
Yeah, he was hilarious. And then even when he's on SNL, he's pretty funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and he seems like he's found a good sense of humor about himself.
He's Australian. All those people have good sense of humor.
It's true. No, but I was excited about that. Now it's just like I don't know. We'll probably end up seeing it still. But.
I will see it. Of course I will. Like, out of morbid curiosity. I mean, like, I just want to know what they've done. The thing is, like, I like most of the vast majority of that cast. Like, I'm like, well, I'm hot and cold with Kristen Wiig. Like, I can, like, it depends on what she's doing.
See,
she's great in some stuff, and then, like, overbearing in other stuff. But it's also because she just gets put in everything.
Do you know what my favorite role of hers was?
What?
In MacGruber.
Oh, she's great in MacGruber. She's amazing in MacGruber.
It can wait.
She's great in MacGruber. Bridesmaids, she's a good, fairly, like, good lead.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought she was funny when she first started on SNL, but then, like, the longer you watched her, she's a lot of the same beat. Like,
that's, I think you could say that.
About all of them. But I just think for her, it's just kind of like...
She was popular, so she was out there a lot.
Yeah,
so you saw her a lot. I really like Melissa McCarthy. I think Melissa McCarthy's really funny.
She's one of the funniest ladies of, like, I would say, of, like, right now. I mean, I've never seen her Mike and Molly.
I've never seen Mike and Molly. I never saw Tammy, which apparently is terrible.
Yeah, and then
that was her, like, passion
Identity.
Project. Identity Thief, I never finished.
There is that funny scene.
It's never her that, like, bothers me, though. Because people are, like, equate her to, like, a Chris Farley-esque person, like the dumb fat person who does the pratfalls and shit. Because she leans on that stuff. She does. Like, sometimes. But she's also genuinely just, like, funny.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, no, I agree. But, like, I think Spy, like, that was brilliant.
Spy was great, yeah.
And I didn't expect, actually, when we saw it...
You did not want to watch it.
Yeah, because I just didn't...
Didn't appeal to... I think the trailers, the marketing for, like, most of those movies is terrible.
Yeah, no, and so I was like... and then I think you and I had laughed... Like, when we first saw it was, like, the hardest we had laughed in a long time. Especially, like...
Jason Statham stole that movie in a pretty awesome way.
I like the very end of the movie. That was so funny.
But, like, having said that, though, like, those movies cut kind of bad trailers. Maybe Ghostbusters just has a bad trailer.
Maybe Paul Feig just doesn't make good trailers.
That's possible. It's totally possible.
Yeah,
but I think it looks like a movie that's appealing to a very modern audience in the same way, and somebody made this comparison.
Oh.
I kind of agree, and I was kind of like, I don't want to agree, but it kind of is. It looks like the trailer for Pixels.
Oh, God.
It does.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, even some of the shots are the same, like in the city, and like...
I want to rewatch both of them now.
The CGI,
I'll have to do that when we're done the podcast.
All the CGI madness.
But then again, is part of this us, too, being like old grumpy people, in a sense, about something? Because maybe it's just kind of like how I got like old and grumpy about the Ninja Turtles. Because those movies, like that movie's not that bad. I just got annoyed by it because I really don't like Megan Fox, first of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, I can be like a problem person when it comes to like sticking to like what like I grew up with Ninja Turtles. That's Ninja Turtles.
So you have a defined perspective on what you think
which is
are.
That's my fault. We always talk about that. But like, is this just maybe us being grumpy for someone like? I mean, this is trying to excite younger kids probably too. Like your best friend has a son that's probably...
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, it's definitely trying to get a broad audience, for sure.
But this is to, like, maybe excite them about the idea, like...
Do you think anything in this trailer, like, sold you... I don't know, are you saying, like, excite them about a new franchise, like, cool ghosts and...
Or even just the same ideas that we got to be excited by, So it's like a revival of it in a sense. Like, but is that wrong? Do you think we're just coming from that point where it's like, oh, we love Ghostbusters and they just shouldn't have...
But like I said, like, Ghostbusters is not like a huge thing. It really isn't. Like,
I know.
The first one is very popular. Most people have seen it. Like, it has a pretty large fan base.
But I even feel like, though, in the last, like, couple years, because even before this whole, like... picture of this like female Ghostbusters revival, I feel like the past couple years, like I was able to go get a Venkman shirt.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, they've always been kind of part of like a nerd zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
It's more niche than other things, but like it's still got a pretty broad appeal. But like, I feel like the target demo for this are fans of the old movie.
Do you really think that?
I don't think that's what they made, but I imagine like in a sense, if I was at a studio. Be like,
do you think this is a way for like fans, but also fans that have kids? You know what I mean? Like, is it one of those things?
Ghostbusters is not really a kids movie.
That's true.
It's not. Like, it's a pretty adult movie.
It's very true. I'm just.
We all watched it when we were kids, but like,
oh hell yeah,
it's not. I don't imagine like kids being kind of bored with that. Like, and now in hindsight, being older. But even like my friend Paul, his son is like 5 years old. And he loves fucking Ghostbusters. He loves the Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbuster for Halloween.
Yeah. So, no, I agree with you. I think maybe it is for a different audience, but then I don't understand why it would be.
Okay, I was just something that popped in my head.
Even as a parent, if I was a parent and I was grew up being a fan of it, why would I take my kid to something I think looks fucking terrible? You know what I mean?
Like that poor kid in front of us at line today. He looked like he was, 14, 15? I don't know.
Going to see Zootopia?
With his grandma.
Hell yeah. He's a good kid.
No, I know, but I was just like, oh.
It's like, man, I really want to see Cloverfield.
He turned around and looked at us. Yeah. Guys, I'll just ditch the grandma.
But yeah, like, that's the thing. But, I legitimately did not find anything,
funny
or appealing or anything. It just didn't, nothing, I wasn't stricken by anything being like, oh, yeah, that looks really fun and great.
No,
it looks very, hacky and, staid and, predictable.
You love hacks, though.
I do love hacks.
You married one.
Yeah, I did.
Hack comedian.
Hack comedian's Sarah Deegan.
Woo! No, I agree. I didn't laugh. Didn't excite me.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of a bummer because I was proven right. I like I more so like being proven wrong when I'm really hard. Because I try to suspend thoughts. I really do. I have a hard time doing it, but I do try. I try to get not get my with Star Wars. I was saying I was trying not to get expectations anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to go in and give it a fair shot. But I hate being proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or being proven right. Sorry. Because when I heard about it, I was just like, no. I even took to social media. I was like, No.
I was more optimistic about it when I first heard about it because of I thought Star Trek '09 was a fun movie. Like, I thought it was like more of a Star Wars movie than a Star Trek movie, and I was like, all it needs to do is be like entertaining and have like some reverence for the original trilogy in terms, and like I think the reverence is definitely there. But I think it's just that script is just, there's just so much shit wrong with it. It's very like plotting and muddled and like.
Well, I was just still talking about Ghostbusters.
Clear characters.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I was hoping that maybe if I saw it, I'd be like, okay, Sarah, you were being kind of judgy. Because for some reason, too, I am really hard on like female, like comedians.
Well, because there's like there's a pressure put on, like unnecessarily. There's a pressure, but they kind of ask for that pressure. Why? Like, because they make a big deal of it. They're not just saying like, we're gonna make a Ghostbusters movie. Here's the cast.
Yeah,
they say here's the all female
yeah.
Ghostbusters in fucking giant scare quotes. Like, and like I said, like, you know, just to come back to kind of the beginning of the conversation, it was like, so they went with that. So there was a bunch of people that's thinking this has to be good no matter what. And then you got backlash because of Leslie Jones. Of her, like, being a caricature.
You all are so super smart, but I'm street smart.
That's just like, you know...
Yeah, it's like,
you know,
what? Like,
you know, like, Ernie Hudson in the original Ghostbusters, I never in my entire life thought of him as the black Ghostbuster.
No.
It's never drawn attention to. It's not cares. It's just they cast Ernie Hudson. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
They put him in the movie, and he works great off of the rest of those comedians.
We should have bought that pop vinyl of him.
Yeah, I know. But he works great, like, as a straight man to all the wacky scientists.
Yeah.
And nothing is ever, like, it's never pointed to and be like, look, that's fucking diversity, man. Like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Because people didn't give a shit back then about that.
It wasn't a thing.
Like, that's the crazy thing.
I mean,
If you think about the 80s and 90s, in terms of, like, films and stuff like that, the amount of, like, diversity that was actually just there, naturally. Mm-hmm. It was all, like, some of, like, the biggest leading men. Like Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx,
Dan Aykroyd in blackface.
Dan Aykroyd in blackface. Eddie Murphy. Chris Tucker.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. We've had, like, fucking Chow Yun-Fat. Like, that's all in the 90s and early 2000s. You know, but now we have this thing, we have this perception that, like, everybody's super racist, every system is super racist, and against, like, oppressed minorities. And, like, so now every time that, like, something is made, people have to point it out very specifically, draw your attention to it.
Yep.
I think it just hurts it, honestly. And I think Ghostbusters is just emblematic of that problem. Because, like, honestly, like, the movie's doing it to itself. First of all, Leslie Jones. Mm-hmm. I think she does, because we occasionally watch Saturday Night Live. She's okay.
Yeah.
There's sometimes she's made me really laugh, but, like, I would be remiss if I didn't say that she kind of leans on being, like, the black stereotypes in terms of her comedy. Like, and that's whether that's a commentary on it, like she's trying to make a point because of that or not. I don't think so, honestly. But, like,
I mean, she was kind of the same way in Hits.
Is she in Hits?
Yeah.
Leslie Jones?
She's the sister. Or in the apartment of the family when he goes back home. She's there and she's just loud and...
No, that's not Hits. That's Top 5.
Oh, Top 5.
Well, everybody's like that.
Sorry.
That was that Chris Rock movie, which is actually pretty funny.
Why did I... Sorry.
No, but that's who she is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there isn't anything wrong. I'm not, because I disagree with that it's a problem. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, it is what it is. But I do think it panders to a weird thing when they were setting up this movie about being, like, a socially conscious change, and we're going to do an all-female Ghostbusters. And then you do something akin to, like, the most stereotypical black New Yorker that, like, kind of thing you could do. Mm-hmm. And she points it out. That's the real kicker. There's dialogue that points out her position. There's no dialogue in the original Ghostbusters that points out that fucking Ernie Hudson is less than anybody else.
No,
In fact, he's like the grounded one that's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Y'all crazy.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are crazy. Like this is some fucked up shit. Like,
yeah.
He becomes like kind of the audience avatar for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But Leslie Jones, it's just weird.
But it's also, too, it makes you wonder, like, how in context is that line in the movie? And then why they chose that line to, like, fill in the trailer. You know what I mean? Like, what is the conversation that line even happens in? Like, that's where my mind goes. It's like, what the
she's
heck?
like, I'm going to join y'all. You all are really smart with the science stuff, but I know the streets. And you're like, this sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not a person that cries like, oh, racism. I don't think it's born out of that. I don't think it is at all. I think that's Leslie Jones' shtick, and that's what they did with the script. And especially in a Paul Feig movie, which is probably a lot of improv, there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the film, in the making of it. That's his strong point, is that he kind of lets these people do their thing. Kind of like when Judd Apatow started, before he just went off the rails. Like, making long
movies about
Mel Brooks wannabe movies.
Or like, just movies about other...
Or not Mel Brooks, Albert Brooks. No, what? Yeah, Albert Brooks movies.
Anyway, no, or just movies about Paul Rudd being him. Yeah.
No, so it is striking. It's weird. Even I literally, when that trailer came out, I told this to you when I got home. I was excited I went to pick you up from work, and I was excited because I found the article that popped up. I was waiting all day for somebody to call this movie racist.
Well, and then
all day, and I was like,
you should have written it.
I should have written it first. I noticed the first thing I noticed. I was like, somebody's going to say this movie's racist, and within like a few hours,
that's all it is now.
It's like a racist minstrel show. First, it's like how fucking offensive is it to say that? Like, do people think Leslie Jones is like a fucking moron? Or is Leslie Jones just doing her thing? Like, that's her thing. That's her shtick. If you've ever watched Saturday Night Live, that is her shtick.
Her funniest thing, though, is Weekend Update.
It's the Weekend Update stuff, which is, what? Sassy black lady.
Hitting on Colin Jost.
Just trying to get some of that white chocolate. Like, and it's funny. It's funny. You're not even laughing. You're laughing at the things she said. You're not laughing. Well, it is partially laughing at her because obviously there's some kind of, like, in quotes, buffoonery.
Yeah.
And you laugh at that kind of stuff. There's nothing, like, different than, like laughing at fucking, what's her name? Melissa McCarthy, like, fucking falling on her face and being fat and rolling around and can't get up. Like, there's an element of that in comedy, and it's totally legitimate.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll go see it. Meh.
This gives, like, and then the fact that, like, oh, everybody's sexist because they didn't want the all-female Ghostbusters, which in the age of equality should have been an all-female Ghostbusters. It should have been men and women. Like, so, like, it should,
or just cast who you think's funny,
or or the best people for the role. Like, having a mandate that we're doing a female Ghostbusters in general, I think is a little odd. But now they kind of.
Do you think Lorne Michaels is an executive producer? I do.
No, I don't think he has anything to do with that.
I'm being funny. He's got to have some stake in this.
Yes, he let his actors go. His stable.
Yeah, I was going to say his stable. Yeah, so we'll see. Try and be open-minded.
No, I'll go in it with an open mind. Like I said, it could be a bad trailer. Paul Feig movies don't usually cut good trailers.
And that was something we haven't talked about before, I guess, until we just were hashing it out here. It was like, maybe it is just, he has bad local trailers.
Yeah, so.
Probably not. Sarah will be right on this one.
It does not look promising at this moment, at this juncture in time. Ghostbusters does not look super promising.
No, looks like a hot, steaming pile of garbage, to quote you.
I don't know if it looks that bad. I think it'll be very middle of the road. It's gonna be like a shoulder shrugger. They're gonna be like, "Well, I watched that.
Here's my $30.
I guarantee it will not be offensively bad.
Okay,
like I think it'll be probably middle of the road.
We'll see. We'll see who's right in the end.
Because this was something with so high concept, like, well, he did it well with, I guess, with Spy. That's the high concept movie that has action scenes and stuff.
Hilarious.
So I was thinking about, like, how do you do that with, like, kind of the improv comedy style, but they did it with Spy, so.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yep.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Yeah, so that's the Ghostbusters trailer.
Yeah, and
see it this summer.
And as we've been sitting here, I've been scrolling through some, like, I guess, articles on social media and stuff on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
And Leslie Jones today has said she's probably backing away from Twitter because of all the backlash and this and that. So there's no point in being on Twitter. And then Paul Feig came to her defense and said...
Yeah, Paul said, fuck the haters, right?
Yeah, he was kind of like, you can say what you want, but when you attack my cast, you cross the line. Leave them alone. I think that's almost a direct quote of the tweet.
Probably. No, he said something very similar to that when, like, there was a controversy because it was going to be... Well, it's like we say... I'm saying controversy in quotes.
I know.
It's like a fucking couple thousand people on Twitter like, that are probably weird sexist people, like, misogynist people, that, like, are like, wow, you can't do that, that's fucking stupid. I think it's stupid on a completely different level.
Yeah.
But, like,
well,
I didn't care either. I honestly just didn't give a shit, like...
Well, and then he directly posted after that him hugging this little girl in a Ghostbusters outfit, and...
This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, actually.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, you know? You've already read it?
Because little girls couldn't dress up like the Ghostbusters if they're not women. Like, come on. Like,
that's stupid.
That's what I mean. Like, there's no adult discourse online anymore. It's all fucking gone. Yeah. Thank you, Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's like, do you ever see the dad who his little girl wanted to be Han Solo? Ever show you that?
Yeah, and he was Princess Leia.
Yeah, because he was like, you know what? I said forget that jazz. Like,
there's also a guy who
his son Frozen Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah, and there's a guy who ROM hacked Zelda to make Link a girl.
Oh.
Which those are fine. Who cares if you want to do that? Sure, go ahead. But like, I also like.
That's not. This is probably a wormhole we shouldn't be getting into.
I don't care. This is
we're 40 minutes in.
It's my opinion.
And we haven't even talked about the movies yet.
I know. Classic My Future Has Been Face Fucked. Ha!
That was a high five. That wasn't me slapping anyone.
Or me slapping anyone. For all those people
Speaking
that are
on misogyny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Sarah, are you okay? No, I'm not. No.
Well, it's just like, there is so much like just contradictory rhetoric around the debate of diversity and equality. It was just like, well, like if your little girl liked Ghostbusters, wanted to be a Ghostbuster,
do it.
Then she can. Like, nothing's stopping her
from being a Ghostbuster.
Because the movies were all dudes. Like, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't actually matter.
Shaun, she needs to be a semi-obnoxious secretary.
Hey, she's great in that movie.
No, I know.
I can't remember her name.
Annie
Potts. Also on Designing Women. My mom ruined me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I used to have to watch a lot.
I was a mama's boy, and my mom watched...
You're still a mama's boy.
Fucking Designing Women reruns on Lifetime.
Yeah, my grandma too.
All the time. And I love that show. That show's fucking funny. Like, whatever.
Yeah, when my mom was at work, I would have to watch Days of Our Lives, Designing Women.
Golden Girls.
I fucking love Golden Girls, actually. Didn't I try to get you to buy the complete series the other day?
Also, shows that were all women that never, like, it wasn't making a statement. It was just, these are women.
Or, like, there was really, kind of like even another favorite of mine, I Love Lucy. The lead... I mean, Desi Arnaz was there, but the lead is, like, Lucy. It's about Lucy, and it was never, like, watch this female housewife comedy.
I mean, well, it is to a certain extent.
But that's not, I don't think that's, you know what I mean?
No, I think they have, like, the traditional husband, well...
Not really.
They do, in a sense, though, because Desi always comes in and takes control, and he's always, like, the dad figure.
But does he take control because then
he always acquiesces to Lucy. Always.
Who wouldn't?
Or they find, like, commonality. And, like, that's the thing. Another show. Mixed race couple. Like, and it was mostly focused on women. And guess what? Like, it just was. And people accepted it. The thing that when you start preaching to people, proselytizing, people get angry about that. Because people don't like being told what to think. That's all that is.
Yeah.
That, like, 90% of the ire surrounding all this shit, like nerd properties or... whatever, it's just because you're blasted over the head with it. That's it. That's really all it is. Like, to me, like, I don't get offended, but I find it annoying. I'm a person. Like, I don't need you to tell me what is right and wrong. Like, you don't get...
I have eyes. I see that they're ladies.
I don't need Hollywood to dictate my morality. Like...
Well, did you hear what I said? It's like, I have eyes. I see that they're ladies. Okay.
Yeah. And then I just move on.
Are they gonna make me laugh? Probably not.
Exactly, but that's where it comes down to. Like, is it funny? That's really what matters.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters, is this movie going to be entertaining? Is it going to be funny? That should be the only conversation that is brought up around this fucking movie, and we don't get to have that conversation. That's the important conversation to have.
And the other important conversation is, in comparison to the old Ghostbusters, because we were so far ahead in digital animations and that, how much different are the ghosts going to be? Like, is it going to be actually better quality? Probably not.
No.
I'm being funny. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the other... That was, like, other, like, fans, like, more nitpicky people were, like, they all look the same. They all, like, this fucking... blue or green.
Actually,
it's just a swarm of CGI blue tinted ghosts
that rose up on them in the
library.
Well, it's
in the first movie.
It's not a library, because I paid attention today when we saw the trailer. There's like clothes hanging up in the background, so it's like it's probably in like a house or something.
Okay, fair enough. Looks like library.
No, if you watch, there's like when they cut to Kristen Wiig, I think it is. We'll have to rewatch it to verify. There's like clothes hanging on hangers in the background, like, so it's probably in a house. Anyway. It looks just like the library, like, lady, though, and then, like, the petticoat dress.
It is. It's directly calling back to it.
And Slimer doesn't even look any better.
And that's the problem. Like, why are you doing that? Like,
I mean, I'm cool with Stay Puft Couple. Actually,
I'm not. Like, why? Like,
yeah, he blew up.
They had a fantastic reason they divined for why they did it in the original Ghostbusters, and it's a funny joke.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like an iconic thing that we need to call back to. Like,
except for in collectible toy figures, which I need to purchase.
That's right. Other than that. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that's our spiel in the Ghostbusters trailer. Like, not too much different probably from other people's conversations, I imagine, but
I don't know.
Reasonable people. I feel like we're reasonable about it.
We'll definitely try and focus on it more once we see the movie.
Yeah, no, I generally want to see it. Like I said, whether that's out of actual excitement or morbid curiosity, either way, I'll probably buy a ticket and I'll make my own judgment. Like, but I will reserve judgment until I watch the movie. Like, I don't care about all the social politics. Like, I was bringing that up just because that's the conversation surrounding it.
That's the zeitgeist.
That's the zeitgeist right now. Like, I don't care about that shit. I don't care. Like,
I know. We'll see.
A lot of molehills parading as mountains these days. So,
tips of icebergs.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that'll cap off the trailer portion.
At almost an hour in. Yeah.
See, that's why we got to do these more often, because we have too much to talk about.
I know. I work too much.
So, I guess because we have the least to say about this, I suppose. So we'll start off with Deadpool.
And we have the least to say, not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. No, there's just not a lot to say about it, honestly.
Because it was just good. I really liked it.
Deadpool's a very fun movie. Very fun. I think it would not have worked as well if it had not been a comedy. I think that actually helps it a lot.
Well, it was supposed to be a comedy.
No, I know that. No, but what I mean is, like, that movie gets away with its low budget and not having all the spectacle and not a ton of action scenes. Like, there's mostly just people talking in Deadpool. Well, he spends half the movie on the freeway. That's the freeway action scene is chopped up.
Well, and that's the great thing about that character is like the internal dialogues he has.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No,
so he's three separate voices, I think.
It also like served the character well.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely. I think it was fantastic.
And actually, the most surprising thing about that movie, to me, was like it actually had an effective like romance. Like Ryan Reynolds really brought it. Like those actors brought it.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds was not like just relying on like I'm charming and smarmy and funny. Like he wasn't. I mean,
he did and then made fun of it.
No, but that's part of the shtick. Yeah. But like like there's a scene in the movie where like when you find out Wade Wilson has cancer, and he stares at his girlfriend. He's just like, I tried to memorize like every part of her, so I like because I might never see her again or something like that. Yeah, and it's like really like impactful. It actually worked.
I teared up at one point.
Yeah, it's like actually that stuff worked, and I did not see that coming.
I think the funniest thing that got me, or I was kind of bummed, was like it starts and it's got like the funny credits. For some reason, I was not looking at the. I don't know if I was looking at my popcorn. I don't know. I was not looking directly at the screen, and then everyone started laughing. And it was only like a minute in, and I was like, what did I fucking already miss? And then I looked up, and then it hit me, and I was like, the credits. That's amazing.
The credits were funny.
No, I'm just saying, so from the jump, it's like, it gets you into that world.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly...
And actually, can I tell you something?
What?
Best Colossus they've done so far, because when he was in the other X-Men movies, fucking stupid.
Well, he didn't have anything to do in the other X-Men movies.
Yeah, he got all the kids out. He protected Kitty Pryde. Thank you.
Well, that's all he does, though. Like, he works in the context. I think they did a funny like thing with Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
It's just Negasonic. It's not Super Negasonic.
Super Negasonic Teenage Warhead or whatever. Who, as far as I understand, that is not actually what that superhero is like. No, the powers are different in the comic books.
Who cares?
But they liked the name because they thought the name fit in with a Deadpool movie.
Yeah. Actually, the banter between those two was so fucking good.
Yeah, most of the banter's good. Like, all the stuff...
And I'm surprised that T.J. Miller... I like Silicon Valley, and that's really the only place I've really seen T.J. Miller.
He's pretty funny, dude.
He is. He
had a short-lived, show on Comedy Central. It was like a season.
And he's been on, when I used to watch Ed Midnight as background noise, and then it became too annoying even for background noise. He used to be on that a couple times. I was expecting him to be, like... I thought he'd kind of stand apart and not in a good way. That was my impression. But he blended in really well. You know what I mean? I was just expecting... I don't know. And it's not... It wasn't a negative automatically going in, but just thinking about it, I was wondering if he would bring it in the same way.
Yeah.
And I have no complaints about that entire cast.
No, I thought it was actually cast pretty well.
Except...
Even, like, the stock villain that doesn't have much of a personality or anything, like, is effective.
God.
He's effective, though.
Francis.
Yeah, so... Francis. I mean, like, and it's a really funny running gag in the movie, but, like... But even, he's effective, even though, like, it has that problem, like, a lot of superhero movies have, are just these villains that are, like, whatever.
And I think
especially origin stories.
And that's part of the joke, yeah.
But it ended up working, right?
I did have one problem, and it was a problem I brought up before we went and saw it. If fucking Stan Lee is in this movie like he's in every Marvel movie... Mm-hmm. So you can pretty much like clockwork, right? I don't know now, though, because he's not... This is his last year for going to cons. So he's getting up there.
He was in Deadpool?
No, I'm just saying... I'm saying after this, I don't... Who knows?
Oh, yeah, well, he's getting old.
I know, well, no, he declared this year's his last con year.
Listen, true believers. Leave that fucking man alone.
Let me finish. Can I finish?
Yes, sorry.
No, but what I'm saying is... I said this before, and I hope you'll verify it. I said this before. If he fucking sees Stan Lee... He needs to fucking acknowledge that he's Stan Lee.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily create the character.
No, but he's the face of Marvel.
Right, and so he should have done a funny one-off on it.
I agree with you. I totally agree. Actually,
because
I thought
is so, like, and they even point out that they're breaking the fourth... You know what I mean? They do all that, and they do it well, but that bothered me.
I thought that's what the movie was lacking, was fourth wall-breaking stuff. I thought there would be more of it. I thought there would be, like, direct reference to the audience... Like, and it never really... It does it, like, twice. There's a gag when he beats that dude up, when he turns the camera away. It's a gag in the beginning with the gum on the camera.
But he's talking to you, though. That's the thing.
I know that.
He's not just narrating the story. He's talking to us.
For some reason, I had thought in my head that the ending action scene would have been him getting thrown through, like, a movie theater screen into an audience, and that would be part of, like, the fight.
That's too campy.
It's too campy.
That's
for Deadpool.
I'm just saying.
Listen, if it worked in Last Action Hero, it'll work in goddamn Deadpool.
No. This is where we part ways, my friend. No, I think they did enough, even with like the Hugh Jackman references, and then even like doing the whole all the Ryan Reynolds jokes and all the Ryan Reynolds jokes.
Which is a good joke to be able to make, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've always liked Ryan Reynolds, and I've been waiting for him to be in a movie that I could just like.
You didn't like Van Wilder?
I did when I was younger. It's actually, I have not seen it since I was younger, but I always thought, like, Van Wilder is stupid. It is what it is.
Maybe we need to rewatch it. I think I've seen it, like, twice.
That's probably terrible.
I know, let's rewatch it.
Like, the thing I remember the most is when they get the dog to jerk off in the eclairs.
Oh, God.
And they serve them to the frat guys or whatever, and they eat them. They're like, oh, it's so warm.
Yeah.
Like, just typical early 2000s, like, college frat
guy gets
movie.
it on his face.
Yeah. It's like Road Trip and American Pie. Like,
can I be honest? I've never seen Road Trip.
I used to really like Road Trip when I was a kid. Granted, I was like 14 or 15.
And that's when Tom Green was...
And that was like the last time I saw that movie.
I never really thought Tom Green was funny. I mean, that's just a sign.
There was a time I probably did.
Oh, I'm sure.
I didn't know better.
You seem like...
I didn't know better.
You seem like you'd be a fan of the Bum Bum song.
No, I never was, actually. I didn't know about that till like way later.
Oh. Anyway...
Like, I would be a light defense, but I might even be able to defend Freddy Got Fingered as being like a weird fuck you to movies. But like,
yeah, and I'm also curious. I'm blanking right now. I can talk about this all day, and as soon as we start recording this damn shit, I start blanking. Vanessa is actually in the comics is a superhero. I can't remember her name.
She becomes one.
Yes.
I can't remember the actress's name either.
She was good.
I like her.
No, but I'm wondering.
She's from Firefly. That's what her
I've
big
never seen Firefly.
nerd thing is. She's in Firefly.
I've never seen Firefly. I saw, what was the movie? About the girl.
Oh, Serenity. Well, that's the end of Firefly. Like, you can't... It's hard to watch that movie divorced
No,
from
I
that
fell
series.
asleep halfway through.
Yeah, that movie is really long, and
I was just hanging out with a group, and they were like, oh, I really want to watch Serenity, and I didn't know anything about it. I was like, alright. And then I just fell asleep on a couch.
yeah. That's a weird party movie.
It wasn't a party.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just, like, people hanging out.
Well, that's a party.
What?
I think if there's more than 3 people in your house, you're having a party. Are there chips involved?
No.
Is there popcorn? Is somebody drinking
No.
a beer?
It was 3 people.
There, like I said.
It's a
Like
party.
I said, party started.
There might have been beer. I don't know.
But yeah,
I started
Serenity's...
falling asleep because I'd never,
great.
but I'd never seen Firefly either. So
Because Joss Whedon's not that great of a director.
anyway, that's not. Come on, we're already an hour deep, and we still have
Yeah.
2 more movies to talk about.
Let me tell you something about the Avengers. No, I'm just
Jesus
joking.
Christ. Oh, Christ Almighty! I'm gonna go in the other room, you all. You just enjoy listening
Hold on,
to Shaun
come close
talk
to my
about
microphone.
Yeah, you
Now-
guys enjoy listening to Shaun talk about the Avengers, and I'll be back
Age of
in
Ultron.
2 hours. All right. Anyway, back to it. I'm really kicking myself for. We'll put it in the when we upload. We'll add in the information of her superhero name. But I'm wondering if that's gonna lead into she's gonna be a superhero in the next movie. You know what I mean?
No, they left the door open for that, right?
Yeah. I'm glad they did because didn't they get greenlit?
Yeah, they got greenlit before that because that movie overperformed like a motherfucker. Ended up being like one of the top grossing rated R movies of all time.
Yeah, I know, but it fucking scares me because it's like...
Now everything's gonna be rated R.
No, I'm fine with that.
Well, that's because the new Wolverine movie is gonna be rated R because of this.
Should be because Wolverine can get kind of crazy.
It would be
That's
nice
a whole other side conversation.
if they let it happen. Yeah, that'd be good. And
But,
not give us here's the extended unrated cut.
I would like to see
Blu-ray.
Wolverine in the jungle. Anyway,
It's not gonna happen.
I know.
I would love that too. Actually, the animated series is a great 3-parter.
I'm talking about the actual.
I know you're talking about the comic,
Yeah.
but I'm saying the animated series did a good adaptation of that. It's Wolverine and Professor X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, what scares the crap out of me about that is well, I hope the next one's as good.
Apparently, it's all the same people are going to be doing it.
I understand, but do you get where I'm going?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Because this movie had a long time to gestate and to figure it out before
and
they
do
made
lots
it.
of fun stuff. I still love that they kept that DMX song in it.
Oh yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie.
the dated DMX song. It was because at the time that movie should have come out years ago when they wanted to do it originally.
Yeah. It was
that would have been in the zeitgeist.
Look, can I tell you something though?
What?
It's funny they kept it because it just made it funny. That's probably why they did it.
They did.
But yeah, I don't know.
And in fun pop rap, that's an okay song. It's even and ironically, but it's got a good beat.
Well, it's just like when we watched The Big Short. I had that fucking ludicrous Moneymaker song stuck in my head for 2 weeks. And I hadn't heard that since middle school, but I was like, this is hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway. But I just thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Start to finish, I did.
Yeah. I can't wait for it to come out so we can watch it again. On
And
Blu-ray.
any extra features or anything.
I'd be totally interested.
I really hope they do a really cool background on the from when they from when they started the movie originally, and then that whole journey of him.
2008.
No, but you know what I mean. That whole journey of how it came to where it.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds and staying on the project for that long.
70% maybe releasing that.
It's crazy, man. Ryan Reynolds wanted to be a superhero so bad he signed on to that shitty Green Lantern movie, and then he finally got the one that he wanted to do, that he always wanted to do.
And then they fucked it up the first time.
Oh, Green Lantern is so bad.
No, I'm talking about when they first did Deadpool.
They did. It was the weirdest.
It made no fucking
Apparently, there's a lot of studio interference in that.
Yeah.
Because that is, like you said, that's a weird thing. That is a literal fuck you to the audience.
Well, can I tell you something too?
They fucking closed his mouth.
And I think part of that too was because I might be wrong. I don't know. I haven't probably read as much on as you, but just as from a fan understanding and other understandings of other characters that they've tried to work with within the X-Men movies and everything, and or just Marvel movies, especially the X-Men though and Wolverine, because they wanted really a lot of those movies to focus on Wolverine. And if you get someone like Deadpool in there that's gonna be Deadpool, who's it gonna take away from? Wolverine.
Yeah, no,
just
the
same way they downplayed Gambit, they fucked Gambit. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
No, and they literally admitted that. They're like,
because it's called X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I understand.
That movie is.
No, I understand. But even the
other movies, they're Wolverine's movies.
No, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And the reason, I've read it several times, the reason that Gambit was never really a part of the other ones. He's even mentioned in the first X-Men movie they ever made. If you look, they're searching through
the second one.
The second one. They're searching through that database, and Remy LeBeau pops up.
Yeah.
I think I literally made a noise in the theater.
Everybody
because I got fucking like.
Everybody was. Their minds were.
Gambit's one of my favorites.
I saw X-Men 2 in the theaters with my with a bunch of friends, and like.
Was it a party?
It could be considered a party.
Okay.
There was a car packed full of people.
Okay.
But like. That movie, like, or the end of that, like the Phoenix, like the allusion to the Phoenix saga, fucking, I was so excited, and I was very disappointed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No, but what I'm saying is, but I've read in several places the reason they never really entertained Gambit, and then they just kind of threw him in there. Even
it's too strong of a personality.
Too strong. Well, because that's the history of Gambit and Wolverine, and. They didn't want to take away from Wolverine, but now we're getting a Gambit movie. When? I don't know.
Actually,
they think they changed. Yeah,
it actually got. Yeah, it's like it's in development hell right now. It's not starting when it was going to start. Like the second director dropped out.
But then I got super excited because when we saw Hateful Eight, Channing Tatum has sort of like a Southern Cajun thing going on, like he's working on the accent, and I was actually kind of pleased with how he was talking in that movie. I was because when they first cast Channing Tatum, I was like, because I love Gambit so much. But then, when I heard that, I was like, that's gonna fucking work. And he's a fucking charmer. Like, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, Channing Tatum is somebody that... It took a long time for him to grow on people, because he was in the wrong roles.
And then he became a stripper.
But once he got in with, like, the Seth Rogen and stuff, they knew how to utilize him. And then he became popular. Like...
No, but it's not even that. I'm just saying, like, I never just saw him as Gambit, but then when I heard that in Hateful Eight, like, not necessarily saying that was where... Like, that's the voice he was going to use, but the way he could do the draws and the, like, cadence, kind of, and all those things, I was like, I got excited again, because I was like, fuck yeah, Gambit movie. And now look at where we're at. God damn it. I just love Gambit. That's all.
But I've always even struggled, like, how do you make a Gambit movie? Like...
No. Here you go.
Give me the elevator pitch.
No, you start with him as a young Gambit... Getting in with the Thieves Guild.
Hunting crocodiles and...
Yeah, eating crawdad.
Yeah.
Crawdad, man.
I hate Cajun people.
No, shut up. No, you start with, like, the Thieves Guild. And, like, because Channing Tatum could even play him on the cusp end of that. And then him getting into... Because that's a fucking interesting... Like, he has a really interesting origin, actually, especially with the Thieves Guild and stuff. And then go from there. And then... I don't know what they would do, like, love interest-wise. They fucked up
what's
Rogue.
Her name? No, he has a love interest before Rogue. Oh, I can't remember her name. They cast her. I believe somebody was cast.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? They could do a lot of the early meat of him. Because it's
I
really
understand
interesting,
that's what
like,
they would do, yeah.
Dicey thieving and, like, really, like, shady dealings and gambling, and that would be fun.
I think, the problem is,
that
like,
would be fun.
Audience perception, like, because if it's an X-Men movie, like, even tangentially, people expect something from it. Like, how does this connect to the X-Men? That's literally what people would probably say.
I mean...
And then, that's a challenge.
Well, they worked it out really well with Deadpool. Like, there are ways he could definitely connect with other parts of the universe. I mean, they worked it in so it's there.
I think Deadpool's a little easier.
But do you see what I'm saying? Is, like, there's ways to work it in, but if you work with, you know what I mean? Or... Gambit didn't always get along with the X-Men either. In the beginning.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly. So, I mean, you could just go from there, and it's him, like, trying to build into that, and then whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of meat there. But again, we're, an hour in, and still got the two main movies to talk about. I can talk about Gambit for days.
Anyways, Deadpool, entertaining movie.
Yeah.
better than expected. I guess just because there was no expectation for it, so you going in, you're just like pleasantly surprised by the fact that it functions like as well as it does.
That's gonna make it hard for our Valentine's Day tradition to get topped, because that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, it did beat the Die Hard movie we saw our first Valentine's Day.
Christ.
I do like that we go see. I just think it's funny though when we went and saw the Die Hard movie on Valentine's Day, like that line of guys with their girlfriends. It was like 3 couples ahead of us.
Yeah, what was the
50 Shades of fucking Grey?
Is that what was that?
Yeah. So I think
no, it wasn't 50 Shades of Grey, was it?
I think so. That came out Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but it wasn't that year though.
Oh, so whatever. We went and saw an action movie.
There was something else. I think it wasn't it like not the astronaut's wife.
We didn't see that.
Time After Time. No, not Time After Time. It's like Eric Bana one where he's like time traveler. Him and what's her name?
Time Traveler's wife.
Time Traveler's wife.
Yeah. I don't know, but I just remember we went and saw some sort of action movie around when 50 Shades of Grey came out, and just seeing these like guys so bummed out. They're like, oh yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. And then we went up and bought action movie tickets, and I was very pleased with that. Yeah,
because they're generally around like Valentine's Day, there's whatever romantic thing they're pushing, and then there's the counter-programming.
Yeah.
Just kind of in the similar vein that, like, when Batman vs. Superman comes out on the 25th, the counter-programming movie is My Big Fat Greek Wedding, too.
Put some Windex on that shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking off work, right? To go see that.
Yeah, we're gonna totally go see that.
We're gonna go see that in the...
Gotta see what happens.
See in the IMAX screen.
If it's as good as Father of the Bride Part 2, then I think we'll be in good shape. It's like the same movie.
Yeah.
As the first
Just
one.
with babies.
Yeah, Deadpool.
Totally. I recommend it.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it again. I think I even tried to go. I was like, maybe we should.
We thought about going to see it again, for sure.
But then we're like, oh.
Then we get lazy.
And then bills.
And then we're like, I don't want to do anything right now.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so the other movie we saw, one of the other movies we saw, was The Witch.
Hell yeah.
Robert Eggers, his directorial debut, actually came out in Sundance in 2015. Took a year to come to theaters.
And I kind of went in not knowing a ton about it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know a ton about it either, other than, like...
You'd read a few articles, I think.
I had read some articles. I think because I had read, like... I knew about, like, Black Phillip. I knew that it was about Quakers.
Oh, man. I didn't even know that. I had just seen on Facebook.
Yeah, well, they marketed the fuck out of it.
No, I'm just saying, on Facebook, you could do that thing where it made it look like the poster with the dim light, and then I had saw that it said a New England folktale, and because you're from New England, I did your face, and then I learned more about it from that. So, anyway, I do have one precursor before we get into the meat of talking about this movie.
Okay.
They built a new luxury cinema near us. And we thought this was going to be our only chance to see it was going to the next town over.
Yeah, because on opening weekend it only played in the town over. Yeah.
Right, and so
it's not playing in our local theater.
And we didn't think it was going to... I didn't think it was going to come to the local theater because we're in a small town
and then it only
in the south.
Went there for a week anyway, so...
But anyway... So we're like, oh, let's go to this luxury theater. It's the same distance as the other theater in Augusta. Let's try it out.
It's $1 more, but the seats recline. It's like leather seats.
Leather recliners that full tilt and recline.
Yeah.
And me I'm a pretty tall girl. I got spoiled. Because then we went back to our normal theater today.
Oh, even I noticed when we saw it, I was like, this is really uncomfortable. Even for like this 90-minute movie.
No, yeah, and see, it's hard for me because like our hometown theater is a small theater, and I'm, like I said, I'm pretty tall. I got long legs. Most of my height is from my legs. I could not get comfortable. I did, but it was just like I had to keep adjusting. I was just like, oh man, I would have spent that extra gas money just to fuck. You know what I mean?
Like to recline in the seat.
Yes, I would have with really nice cup holders, and you don't feel on top of everyone. The temperature in the theater was very comfortable. I was freezing.
The perfect movie experience.
I was freezing today. There's a bar open in it now. Like we've had a beer and watched a movie. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
Anyway, so I got spoiled. That's where we're going to go see Batman vs. Superman, though.
So what did you think of The Witch, overall?
I liked it. I know it's funny is because I know going into it, I am generally someone that does not do well with slow movies. I can watch...
Yeah, because I think I told you it was going to be slow.
That's what I was getting to. Was
slow, but it's not really slow.
Okay, no, but
anyways, yeah.
In general, I do not do good with slow movies. It depends on my mood, usually. I can get through them. I get very, like... I don't know, antsy? I don't know, it's not even antsy. I kind of check out.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like I said, if it's a good slow movie, I can usually get into it.
Yeah.
Or if I'm mentally ready for... So you did warn me that it was going to be a little bit slower. You know.
I was trying to check your expectations so you'd enjoy it, I guess.
No, and that was... I'm glad you did, because...
Because the marketing for that movie is...
It made it seem like a
lies.
horror... Like
it's fucking lies.
No, it made it seem like a straight-up horror film.
More of intense... Well, it is actually... Oh, it's incredibly intense. But like...
It is intense.
In an unconventional way.
It's more psychologically...
Intense.
Yeah. And I will say this after seeing it, it didn't hit me right away after seeing it, right? Like, I was like, yeah, that was pretty, like, as intense. It was, you know, a lot of the stuff that happens is like...
No, it's a movie that's...
It builds tension, but I didn't realize it until the more I thought about it, and we talked about that.
It stays with you.
Yeah, the more I thought about that stuff, I was like, that was
I've been dying to see that movie again. Like, I've been like...
No, I would.
I've been dying to. I've
see it.
just been thinking about it. Like, I'm just like, I really... Because I have some thoughts about that movie, like the subtext, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But, like, it was kind of the same way with, like, Ex Machina. I was like, I need to watch that again. Before I make...
not like Ex Machina.
I liked The Witch on the outset more than I liked Ex Machina the first time. Because Ex Machina is similar in the sense that,
like Ex Machina.
Actually, the subtext is very similar. But, like... It's similar in the sense that movie was marketed as a different movie.
Yeah.
Ex Machina was marketed as, like, a thriller. And it's really more of just, like, a philosophical science fiction movie.
Yeah. I don't like it. I'll watch it.
I think you should watch it again. I think you probably... I've said this before, I think. But
you did, like, a week ago. You were like, you should watch it.
I think you should. I think there's enough good stuff in that movie to kind of override some of the...
I can't get past the Black Mirrors guy. Anyway. No, but like I did some of the stuff in that movie was like, which for like, I guess where we are right now in the world, things are less shocking to us.
Yeah.
In all sense of like media, entertainment.
For sure, yeah.
You can even go as far as like even like pornography, just like weird stuff, you know?
We've been desensitized to an extreme.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff, it is really disturbing, but like I said, the more you like sit and think about it, and then like the context it happens in, and then the world that it's, you know, it's like the little family group it's happening with, it kind of like, it jarred me a little bit, you know what I mean? It's just like...
Yeah, no, for sure.
And there's several different... I think ways you can think about like the subtext, I guess that we'll get talking about. There's several different ways you can kind of look at it.
There's different readings to it for sure. Yeah,
yeah, it's not, and I kind of like that too.
Me too. I love that.
You take away from it like what you interpret,
and I think like it's something like.
No, but I like that too because it allows you to live deliciously.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Yeah. And it's delivered wonderfully, actually.
Yeah. It was delivered by the character of Black Phillip. And that voice is just perfect.
It's amazing. It
was
amazing.
Where to begin?
Yeah, where to begin? So basically, the concept of the movie is like if the Puritan Quaker nightmare made real.
Right.
Like, so
well, this
it's
is
basically
right before the witch trials, right?
It's like the same time period. So like if you thought about the Crucible,
I thought it was right before the actual witch hunt started.
Well, they don't ever directly reference that at all, but it's in people's minds, like this idea of like this is how evil exists. It's obviously playing off of the idea of the Crucible. It is for sure.
I don't remember the Crucible
in terms of like the witch hunt. No, I'm just saying like so, but because the Crucible, it's all these women get accused by happenstance and jealousy and people being
like how
trite.
It actually happened.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the story of these women that get put on trial for being witches, not really witches, about petty jealousies and all this other, like, just village politics or whatever you want to call it. And, like...
And I do...
And this movie posits, like, well, what if all that shit was real? Like,
well,
what if they were really witches? Because that's the thing about this movie. Makes no bones about the fact that there's a fucking witch. Within the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
There's a fucking witch, and the witch does one of the most, like, abhorrent things you can possibly imagine. He steals a baby and fucking kills it, and then rubs its entrails and it's mashed.
Grinds it in like a what do you call it?
A grinder? Yeah, I know, a muddler thing.
Yeah.
Like, and then rubs it all over her naked body in the moonlight. Like, fucking crazy old ugly witch like.
And they did it tastefully. Tastefully as you can do.
As tastefully as you can do so. It's actually not that gratuitous.
No, yeah. It's as tastefully as you can kill a baby and rub its guts all over you. It is done tastefully.
But it's kind of like, and I agree with you, like, when you watch it, you just kind of just washes over you. But it's when you start thinking about it, you're like, man, that is really unsettling.
Yeah.
Like, this idea of, like, stealing a baby.
Within, like, 2 seconds. It's what it seemed like.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, it's just like...
No, so it's a great premise. So it has that kind of similarity to The Crucible where there's, like, this paranoia.
And can I make a side note, too, while I was thinking about it? The cool thing, too, is at some point they let you know a lot of the dialogue is taken from texts of that time.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. I fucking love it.
And some people, I've, like, you know, modern...
People
like,
suck, yeah.
But I hate to say that. Like, I hate to be that broad and generalized like that, but people... It's the same argument I used to hear in high school when people would talk about Shakespeare. And it's just like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, if you don't know what's going on, you're just not paying attention. Like, it's really not that hard to figure out. And then if you watch it in context, you get it. Like, I mean, the problem with... Well, just sidebar. Problem with Shakespeare in high school, especially when you're learning about Shakespeare and you're first introduced, you're supposed to watch Shakespeare. Shakespeare, they're fucking plays.
Yeah, meant to be performed.
Like, if you are just reading the text, I get people having a hard time with it.
And it's supposed to be dudes in dresses. But anyway.
But anyways, besides that, so I don't like that. It was a weird like criticism I kind of heard off in the ether somewhere. Like I was like,
I haven't really read anything.
People not being able to understand what the hell is going on because they don't understand. Like it's, you know what, the way they spoke back then, while it's like mannered, is not that much different than we speak today. Like,
can I give a quote?
Yeah.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? I'm just going to say that as much as I can.
That's the great line. Do you see the book before you? I actually, Sarah and I were like in bed, like in the morning. That's how I woke up. Woke Sarah up. I was like, "Do you see the book before you?"
Or when our one dog stands on its hind legs.
Yeah, black felt. Like it's generally it's like
all the performances are great.
Oh, amazing!
Even the kids.
The father is the guy who plays Finchy in the British version of The Office.
And I didn't notice that till you mentioned it, and then I thought about it, and I know he's older, but he looks so weathered and like he's living in that environment. It didn't hit me at first for some reason.
But it was a testament to his performance. Like,
no, absolutely. But I was just saying. But then when you said that, I was just like,
like there's moments in that movie that's just like devastating. Like it's just the emotional drama going on in between the family and dealing with like the loss of the child that gets stolen and how they kind of are trying to justify existing without him and like pointing the fingers at each other and stuff, like, and like the way they treat their kids and like, and then the father feeling like inadequate, like because he can't provide for his family because they're going through a tough season, not being able to farm.
They were cast outside of the
Quakers or whatever the fuck they are.
Well, it's like the community. Mm-hmm. You know, that they had like an established community.
Yeah, they leave it ambiguous, like why.
I think it's beliefs.
They have a problem. Yeah, he's more hardline, doesn't want to be progressive. I think that's kind of what like it kind of implies.
Yeah,
and that works with the subtext of the movie as well.
Because it also, I think that's right. Because then if you listen to how the wife talks, where she's like, "I just want to go home."
Yeah, and
it's a lot of the settlers at that time did not want to go back home because they didn't want to deal with that. You know, so I think that's what it was, or that's what's implied, at least in my interpretation of it.
Well, but like I said, I think that works with my reading of the subtext about, you know, because the main character is like this teenage girl coming of age, becoming a woman.
Her brother thinks she's hot.
Well, and that's all he's got, you know?
I'm kidding.
But like,
actually, that kid, I think he was my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, the brother is, all the child actors are amazing.
No, I know, but I think he was my favorite part of that movie. Sorry.
No,
besides Black Phillip.
Well, that's like the intro. So, but that's the subtext. Like this, not the subtext, but the theme of the movie is this girl kind of coming of age, and then they throw in the Crucible style, like, you know, being accused of being a witch, and she kind of like goads her little brother and sister, the two twins. They're like 5 years old,
singing these.
They've been talking to this goat. And everybody just ignores them because they're children, and which is like goes back to it's like a Christian saying, "Out of the mouths of babes."
Yeah.
Like so, like it's a very layered film, like incredibly layered, and like there's so much going on. Like that's why I want to see it again so bad. That's why I was like I wanted to write something about it really bad, but I was really hesitant.
Because you want to watch it
because I want to watch it again to see like where I don't want to like purposely misread that, but like the movie, what I think like the message of the movie, because I think the message is actually really fucked.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit.
So that's the thing about, the movie, okay, is about this girl coming of age and, like, dealing with life in those times and dealing with kind of patriarchy and oppressions and, like, it's actually kind of the crumbling of the family unit and, it's very modern in that sense.
Yeah, because, like...
Inadequate fathers, had, like, crazy moms.
Yeah, and then just, like, them fighting and, like, children overhearing it, except, like, that weird dynamic of the times thrown. It's like, oh, just sell her to a better family. Find her a good family and sell her.
Yeah, because she's getting too old to be here. Because, like, the thing is, like, it's a power struggle between the mother and her. Mm-hmm. For, like, the matriarchal side of what's going on in the family. And then you also have
the mom, then she starts dealing with the death of a child, the loss of a child. And
she blames her because she was watching the child while it was abducted, like...
Yeah, and then she just kind of goes into this, like, for lack of a better sense of a word, what is it? Like, hysteria? Mm-hmm. So, the histos of it all. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about.
So, I guess, like, in general, like, what do you... we're going to just give away the end of the movie.
Yep.
And honestly, like, even if you've listened this far and you've never seen the movie, like, even when we spoiled this for you, like, it's still totally worth... All of these movies, I think, are well made enough that, like, you should just watch them anyways.
I agree.
But, like, so the end of the movie, her whole family ends up dying from one way or another. Mm-hmm. Or she actually kills her mother.
Which, that was an awesome
Black
scene.
Phillip kills her father. The kids disappear. We don't know what happens to the twins. And then I'm
pretty sure they ended up being the rub for the fires.
And basically, like, the girl is just, like, left there alone in their little hut, and she's like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna go see if I'm gonna go talk to the goat. And see if this is real, or am I crazy? Like, and then the goat talks to her.
Fuck
and
yeah.
becomes, like, a man, and, like, signs her up basically to become a witch. And then she walks naked into the woods. She, like, lets go of her life, her current life, and comes, like, naked into this new life, and there's a coven of witches thriving and gnashing around a fire. And they all fly in the air, and she's like, and then she starts giggling, super happy. So in your opinion, what do you think, like, the subtext of this movie is? Like, what's the through line? Because we've already kind of established, okay, it's about a woman coming of age. That's, like, kind of, to me, that was the big, like, theme of the movie. Did you have a different reading on it?
I did. I think I take it a little differently than you did, but in the sense that, like, I focus more... I think we agree on that, like... I see her as the most independent, but I also... The thing I focus on with her character is she is the... always, in a sense, the most pure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, no, like, that's what always stuck out to me.
She's the most innocent because everything that happens to her is, like, happenstance. Like, it's never her direct actions that lead to the abuses. And
she was always the one that was never afraid to, like, hold her tongue and, like, never, you know what I mean?
She was the most aware of, like, the rule set, right? Like,
not just that, but
struggles with it,
right?
Like her father.
And because then even, like, her brother, that, it's a great performance, but he even came to, like. Because I think what's implied is he, like, messes around with that witch.
Yeah, no, the witch,
gets raped.
The witch rapes him. Like, that's...
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's his desire and his, like seedy...
Yeah, because he's a horny, like, 13-year-old kid.
No, I know, and it was something he was trying to suppress, obviously, and then he just, like, succumbed to it. But to me, like, Thomason, right?
Yeah.
She just was, like, to me, that always stuck out when she was the most pure. So maybe we do agree, because then, like, the end message is, like, well...
To me, the end message is, like, if you want to be a strong, independent woman...
You get labeled...
In those times, like, you're going to be called a witch, like, in metaphorically. Oh, you're a witch, you're the evil of the world. And that's the metaphor. But in the movie, they literalize it by, like, she becomes a witch, and she's going to be a witch. And the witches established in this movie... murder babies and rape kids and fucking and leave them in states,
eat livestock,
and leave them in states that they're going to die,
like possession, and then, like, fucking, like, choking on apples. And...
So I was like, to me,
because that was a lie he told, and then he fucking literally choked on an apple, like, you know what I mean, like,
no, I know. So, like, to me, that was, like, the, so I understand, like, it's not meant to be taken 100% literally.
No,
because the metaphor is, like, that's the way that's the way the world views, like, strong-willed women. Like, they're witches.
Can I tell you, I do at least once every 2 weeks sacrifice a baby.
Well, you gotta. I mean...
Where do you think I get my lovely odor
Well, the gods would be angry. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, I don't want to incur that wrath.
Fucking walk outside and have that goat at our door.
Yeah, fuck that. That guy...
We
not only does he show up to your house, but he charges you money for his time.
I know, I mean, and we've been good. Like, he hasn't really visited us lately,
so... give me the magic note. I was like, God damn it, here's a 5. He's like, and then he keeps his little hoof. He keeps shaking it at me. I'm like, God damn it.
That's what I get for living deliciously.
Yeah. Nothing is free, kids.
Nope. Not even the delicious life.
So, like, yeah, so to me, like, when I first walked out of the theater, I was like, well, that's really fucked. Like, in this
My favorite, though, was the person who went and saw it with, their reaction.
Oh, it could have been better. They could have done better. I was like, what are you... My sister. My wonderful sister.
We love her, but that was really funny.
Yeah, somebody, like, coming out of the theater, one of the ushers was like, oh, how was it? Was it good? Like... My sister's answer was, they could have done better. I was like, shut the fuck... I think I even said it. I was like, Megan, shut the fuck up.
I just went... I think I said her name irritatedly and just ran to the bathroom. So I was like, oh, which was not fair. But... trying to live deliciously here, Megan. No, but to be fair, if you've seen the trailer, you are expecting jump scares. You are expecting... I think so.
Oh, yeah, for her expectation, yeah.
No, and because she went in not... knowing...
But that's the sidebar. We're talking about the subtext.
Go for it.
No, but Megan's always like that about anything. Like, that's just Megan's response. That could have been better. They could have done better. Which is not too dissimilar from mine. But... in the last 20 minutes, went to shit. That's the famous Shaun quote. Marginally more nuanced. But, no, what do you think of my reading on the subtext? Do you think that is like is that the message of the movie? It's a metaphor thing, so it's not meant to be taken literally.
Yeah.
But then they do literalize it. So to me, that kind of creates a weird message.
I agree.
Because that's not perceived evil. That's not like perception like she's dealing with throughout the movie. People thinking she's evil because she's becoming a woman. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I think the hardest part is...
the witches are established as, like, evil. They are established as, like, they do evil things. They steal babies. They grind them up. They rub them on their bodies.
But that baby was still a sin. The family even admitted that themselves. So honestly, they're...
so fair game, really, for witches.
They're the mercenaries.
Yeah.
Really, they're wiping out...
really, those witches are doing God's work, if you ask me.
Right, so is the goat.
So, like, that's what I mean. Like,
because they're all a bunch of liars and dirty people.
I mean, just because, like I said, like, the metaphor is clear. I understand that the metaphor is... but they establish... witches ain't no good.
Yeah.
Like, they're evil.
I think you're being too... I think you're holding on to that too much.
Am I?
I
might be.
I personally think so.
I might be.
Because if you're going to talk about it like metaphor sense, then you just kind of suspend that and you think about...
but
I think you are literally... I do... actually, can I be funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible things happen, but I did not leave be like, yeah, those witches were evil.
What the fuck did you think? Look what they did!
Like,
Look what they did!
Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was already saying, like, that baby was not without sin, you know, like, I'm being serious, like, that's how I'm seeing it. Call me crazy, call me evil, see what happens to you.
They would just steal any baby, whether that baby was not in
no,
sin
but
or not.
the thing is, like, no, that's what I'm saying, is, like,
stealing a baby and doing that is, like, and I do not believe in, like, evil in the traditional sense, because I think everybody has a justification, everybody has a perspective, there's context for everything. Even the most evil, in quotes, people in the world had reasons why they did what they did. So it's all about perspective to me. But anyways,
that baby was being cute because he just wanted some more milk, Shaun.
Yeah, and you know what he got? He was fucking grinded up.
Yep.
That's not a word.
Baby's fault.
He was ground up into little baby parts and
saying...
used as an exfoliant.
Great. Now whoever listens is going to be like, Sarah's a baby killer.
Sarah wants to kill babies. Well, that's like, and the other metaphor is like, was that like an abortion metaphor? Like, because I mean, like, I'll go deep because the movie's got enough stuff in there. You can go there with the movie.
No.
I'm just saying.
You can go there. I'm not going there.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying like no,
now,
good,
see,
bad, or indifferent, or whatever.
I really
like,
need to watch
but that's what
it.
that's what muddied the waters for me in the sense. This is like, okay, I did not directly see that as an abortion metaphor, not at the beginning, but at the end, when you see everything, you're just like, oh, you're like it just ended up being like
it's a bunch of liberal women around a fucking
a bunch of liberal goddamn propaganda. Actually, well, a side note, like this movie was endorsed by Satanists around the country.
Yeah.
Which is another thing I just find weird. They're like, this is a good reputation of Satan. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're stealing babies. And they're killing them. And they're raping little boys. Like, give me a fucking break.
I mean,
like,
Shaun,
I understand,
Shaun,
yes, the Aleister Crowley, fucking do it thou wilt. Like, do you want to live deliciously?
Oh,
I get it. Like,
don't ruin that line.
It's fucking, like, but that's what it's referencing.
I know, I understand that.
Like, I get it, guys. I get it. Like,
well, just like I get you beat me over the head with your fucking abortion metaphors and, like, evil witches. I think you're reading into that way.
No, well, the abortion thing was something that came to me later. Where I was like, was that, like, a metaphor for abortion? Strong women have abortions?
Was that baby actually born from a, was that actually Thomason's baby? Did her brother knock her up? Let's go there.
No.
I'm being funny.
That wasn't her baby either.
That
was her mother's baby.
I know. I'm being funny.
Way off base there. Way off base.
Oh, yeah. Bringing an abortion into the witch. All right. All right.
You say the movie muddies the waters. You're the one muddying the waters with all your abortion talk. I don't know.
You and your crazy...
Like I said, no. I'm not saying making a judgment about abortion one way or the other. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not. As I'm saying, if you put the pieces together... I've had a few beers. Listen to me. Listen closely. If you put the pieces together, I don't think that's a huge stretch in the terms of, like, what is modern... like, in quotes, feminism. Like, what is it, like, the virtues it extols,
baseline
blah, blah, blah.
The message is it's liberation through truthfulness and independence. Whether...
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Honestly, I agree with that. That's one layer. That's a level.
But can I just say something to you? I don't think it... While we necessarily perceive, like, because all the witches we saw were obviously women, that's how it was, so that's how it was displayed.
And you'll see no warlocks up in there.
I think, though... That the potential for that though was portrayed through the twins, because one of the twins was a boy, and he was in that world too.
I know, but they weren't.
But then
we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to them.
I told you that's what they were like wearing on them when they're dancing around the fire, because they were not without sin.
Well, the little kids are making a pact with the devil. Yeah.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? Is that I think while we don't know what happened to them, so they, for all we know. They were out there, or actually, were the twins, like, they became possessed and the witches disguised, like, two of the witches disguised themselves as twins?
No, I don't think that was... No,
okay, well, I'm just saying, though, but I think, backing up to my revelation, I think because one of the twins was a boy, I think it does kind of open up that possibility realm, so you can see that it's also... I think the baseline is, it's...
Like, he's not a feminist, he's an ally. Okay?
I'm not talking about feminism.
I'm joking.
I know.
But you are, though.
In a sense, I guess.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, but
it's a female empowerment thing that the witches, right?
But what I'm saying is, though, but they do show the potential for, if you want to be funny, a warlock. But I'm being serious.
For potential allies.
Because they were from the mouths of babes, innocent children that didn't, you know what I mean? But like, whatever. Like, there was... Do you see what I'm saying, Shaun? You're just aggravating me.
I do see what
you are just aggravating.
I'm just going to give you a hard time.
I know you are, because it's a smart point, and you didn't say it.
No, I'm not, because I don't know if there's enough in that movie to support that.
I do.
Black Phillip is using those children directly to manipulate that family into eating each other alive. Like, that is what's happening. Those kids come and muddy the waters for what's going on in that family and how they are dealing with grief, how they're dealing with a bad season, how they're dealing with like their interpersonal politics. Those kids come in and they fuck it up at every turn for everybody, and that's under the influence of Black Phillip. He's using them as tools.
And then what prevailed?
To destroy the family.
Oh, you don't.
No. Okay. Well, what prevailed?
No, I'm just saying it was through like truthfulness and like that innocence in the sense that like. You were very, like, honest and aware. Because the kids were honestly aware there was problems. To be able to, like, connect with Black Phillip. That's how I feel. I do. Because all the kids heard the fighting, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, but is that knowledge given to them, or is that their awareness of it?
It's their awareness, because they were fucking arguing right under their bedroom.
Black Phillip is planting the seeds. Yeah, all kids hear well, those of us with two parents. I'm just joking.
Fuck
My dad's dead, it's fine. Your dad's still alive, you just never met him. Whatever. Semantics. But most kids hear, like, adults fight.
I get it. No, but do you see where I'm going? You're just frustrating me. No, I can't even talk. I'm frustrated.
No, I'm just trying to... I'm legitimately just trying to, like, see your perspective. Because, like, to me, I did not, like, notice anything that would support this idea that those kids are complicit in the way that you seem to are implying that they are.
Well, we need to watch it again, because I think it's there. I do.
Because that takes away, like, the importance of Black Phillip's presence.
Those kids were aware of their surroundings. They never told lies.
Yes, they did. They told lies all the time. They call their sister a witch. And started pretending to have convulsions and, like...
They weren't pretending.
Yes, they were.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. They totally were. Mm-hmm. But that's all because of Black Phillip, his influence. That's his role. Black Phillip is not really a thing in that movie until the last 20 minutes.
Oh, he is. That is the best performance of the movie.
He's always in the background. The kids are always talking about him, but you never see him directly do anything until the end of the movie. So, but he's working through the kids.
Okay.
Because out of the mouths of babes. Like, people just inherently trust kids because kids are so fucking honest. Guess what, guys? They're not. Especially when they're hanging out with goats. I'm just saying, do you see where I'm coming from?
No, I do.
And I'm not discounting your theory here.
No, you are.
I will watch it again and I will look out for that. I totally will.
No, but what I'm saying, though, is... I mean, maybe I am, maybe now I'm muddying it up.
Muddying the waters. Goddamn, abortion,
no, but do you understand what I'm saying is, they were able to somehow, become the conduit to the person that, eventually, provided the chance for it to be okay to be, liberated and truthful. Because if that was the case, why didn't,
Because I think Black Phillip, if we think about it, more broadly, Black Phillip is aware that she is susceptible to what he wants, and he wants to isolate her from her family.
Okay.
Because the witches are, in the context of the movie, it's basically the witches are, the servants of the devil. They're his harem, for lack of a better way to put it, right?
It's not the devil.
Not to say even in a sexual sense, but, they're servants to him.
Yeah.
And he's gaining followers, you know? He's tweet at me, bro.
Well, because it's even, I guess, because then even at the end, we're just well, I can't write my name. He's I'll guide your hand to learn to write. And
that's exactly right.
I understand. Okay.
But, because the whole movie is her struggling with her faith and, the patriarchy in the sense of, her place in the family and following the rules.
Potentially being sold to another family just to become a wife.
She's apathetic about, their beliefs. She just doesn't... She's a teenager. All teenagers are.
She is a true settler from the motherland. No, I agree. No, I don't... Yeah. Okay.
That was a fun conversation, if anything, though.
Yeah.
I loved talking about that movie.
Shake your hand.
Yeah. Good talk, kid.
That was me slapping Shaun.
Ow!
No, that was...
You dare talk about abortion and the witch. Muddying the waters of the conversation.
Bloodying the waters.
Hey, now.
Anyway. No, I mean, but I want to talk about this more, but now that we've got all these other ideas floating around, I just want to fucking watch it again. Kind of like you didn't write about it, because I just want to watch it again now.
Yeah, because
I think once the first viewing, like I said, the more you sit with it, the more you get unsettled, and not even necessarily in, a grotesque way.
No, it's not in that way.
It unsettles you,
I was not unsettled by any of the visceral moments in this movie.
Oh, so who's the okay with mushing up babies now?
No, because the idea is much more powerful than that movie could ever.
No, because you could even just separate this and just watch the struggle family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether they're in, like, colonial times, or, like, that could be even, like, now. People just, like, not making ends meet, and then just,
because I think if this movie was made, like, 10 years ago,
yeah,
it would have been a psychological drama, and then at the end you find out it's all in their head. It's just about paranoia. It's just about the family unit.
It was modern time the whole time!
No, not like The Village. But, like, I think, like, another filmmaker would have just, like, gone back and, like, because actually the most shocking thing to me, there's a moment when she's sitting alone in the house, isolated, and then it cuts to black for a second, and I was like, don't fucking do that. Like, I'm okay with the ambiguity, but this is bullshit.
Oh, when you thought it was going to end?
Yeah, but then it actually does that extra crazy step that I always wish movies would do.
But wait,
stories would do.
You're talking about right after she killed her mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, for a split second, I thought it was done, and I was like, no. And then when she first woke up, my first thought was she was going to look for the little ones. I did. No, I did. I thought she was going to start looking for them, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my first thought, and then I was like, no, this is going to totally...
No, but see, like, the movie pays off in ways that, like, I'm always wanting movies to pay off. Like,
oh, yeah.
You have a fucking concept, you've held it back, like, you only give us little spurts of it, now just fucking give it to me at the end. Just fucking give it to me. Like, it's like, you know, it's a movie we both actually really enjoyed, The Last Exorcism.
Yeah.
The movie, like, halfway pays it off at the end. Halfway.
Absolutely.
Halfway pays it off. This whole movie, you're like, is this girl really possessed? Is there really a demon? Are these people really Satanists? And then, like, it tricks you into thinking, no, this was just a psychological drama about this girl. And actually does a really good job of that.
No, yeah, I agree.
And then there's that last... And then there's literally, like, 3 minutes left in the movie where they're like, no, wait a second, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then he doubles back, and then there's they're all worshiping the devil, and there's a giant fire, and the girl's having the baby, and, like... And then the movie does the found footage thing where the camera drops and the movie's over. So, like...
Yay! Actually,
this movie...
I want to watch that movie again soon.
This movie does it. It pays it off.
It just wraps it up with a nice little black bow with a card.
And now that I got what I wanted...
Want more!
I just, like, I'm conflicted because of the moral center. And also having the awareness that this is backed by the Church of Satan, I'm just like...
Oh, who cares?
I don't care. But I'm baffled. I'm like... What is... I guess the rhetoric is right. So, like, they're like, yep.
That'd be like saying you don't...
Yep.
You don't... Oh, what was that movie?
Like, I don't want to be too much of a literalist about it, because, like, that's the danger of, like, movies like this, where, like, that's why Christian groups get involved and, like, try to ban movies like this. It's like, don't be a literalist.
It's like saying you didn't like The Inconvenient Truth because it's backed by Al Gore. I'm kidding. Who cares? I'm kidding.
Al Gore, all that money and bad science.
What? No. I could care less about the, like, Satanist support. Because whatever.
No, I'm not saying
I'm not a Satanist, but who cares?
I'm not saying, like, I care about it, but then at the same time...
I'm actually more interested to see, like, to figure out, like, what they drew from it. That's where my thought goes. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Like, what are you taking about this as a positive representation of your belief?
All right, let's pay off our library fines and go do some research.
The town I used to live in, I a little sleepy New England town, Royalston, Massachusetts.
How many witches did you all have in your community?
I'm pretty sure there was a few witches, and actually, I really do Wiccans, at least.
There's a difference.
The librarian. But the library, the local small library, I used to go there all the time, tons of books about witchcraft. So I read about Satanism, witchcraft, and because, like...
It's because you're in, like, Emerson land.
And then I was, like, a young... I'm a young kid who's raised, like, really hardline Catholic. Like, Roman Catholic, not Christian or anything, like, Catholic. Like, and having, like, I was always trying to, like, find the other side of it.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of those books, a lot of it written by supposed, like, real witches and warlocks and whatever.
According to you, there's no warlocks, so...
Not in The Witch, there's no warlocks.
I think there is. There's potential for one.
There's potential for the first warlock. That'll be the next movie, The Warlock.
No! What if they do another one, and it's about what happened to the twins? Oh my god, that's gonna be our first movie.
The Witch 2, The Twinning.
Witchier.
Even witchier. The Witch 2, Hocus Pocus.
No, just called Warlocked.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah, just Warlocked.
The Witch 2, Warlocked. But it would be like, The Witch 2 would be like in small letters, : big letters, Warlock.
It has to be in that weird, like, old... Okay, now we're getting off track, because we still got a whole nother movie to talk about. No, so how about this? Let's make a proposal.
Let's make a pact.
A pact. Do you see this book?
Do you see the book before you?
See, you steal my jokes. Shaun tries to get all the glory, talk over me, and steal my jokes.
Well, it's patriarchy.
Yeah. And what's going to happen when I rise up above it?
You're going to kill my baby.
No.
And you're going to rape my son.
That'd be gross.
That'd be weird because we're married, yeah. That would be very weird.
The fuck? So I kill her.
It would be a hell of a TV event,
it would just be an Amityville horror here.
That doesn't happen.
Or does it? Ryan Reynolds totally raped those kids. Anyway. Anyway, no. That would be weird because it'd be like killing or raping our firstborn, then killing our second kid. Stop it. Anyway, here's the deal.
Okay.
Do you know how to write your name?
Yeah, you gotta guide my hand,
yeah,
please.
I will guide your hand. No, let's like rewatch it when we can.
Yeah.
When it comes out. And then, because I don't think it's playing anywhere near us.
No, it's pretty much gone now.
Well, it should be out soon then, eh?
I imagine...
We'll have to investigate
that. Like in May, it'll be around somewhere.
Okay, so then let's make a deal and a pact. Let's watch it and then have a witch cast.
Okay, we'll do another witch cast.
No, just a witch cast. I think we could get... we freaking almost got another hour out of this movie, kind of.
Well, that's true. Yeah. No,
I think
it'd be cool to revisit it and like get some more solid opinions.
Yeah, because it's been what, a couple weeks.
It's been a few weeks, yeah.
So I mean, I do remember it, but it's not as crisp in my brain, except for wanting to live deliciously. Excuse me, I'm living deliciously right now.
Delicious all over this shit.
Yeah. So we should get ready to talk about our next little venture, our venture today.
Another smaller film, actually.
Yeah.
Alright, the last movie we have to talk about today
we'll probably end up talking about two more within this conversation.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
What?
The supposed alleged sidequel to Cloverfield.
We've got some theories.
The original film. I went to see this. They actually did a cool thing with this movie in the sense that the first trailer just came out like a few weeks ago, and then the movie was in the theaters.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Never saw a trailer.
Never saw the trailer, really?
Didn't see the trailer.
The trailer was really good. That's actually what made me want to see it.
I had just read that it was coming out.
Okay, fair enough.
And then you were talking about it, so
cool. I did see the trailer. Actually, the trailer's really good. Like it it looked like my type of movie where it's like. Scare quotes, like a gimmick. Like, people walked in a bunker and there's shit going on outside. Or is it like...
Were they playing, like... music?
Actually, I will say this right up front. The thing that hurts this movie the most is that it has Cloverfield in the title. Because you're never...
Okay.
You know something's actually happening.
I agree.
And that affects the movie.
And I think it might be for a different reason, which we'll discuss in theories.
Okay. So, broad strokes, Sarah. How did you feel about 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Besides being freezing in the theater and not having legroom, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Now the guy behind us... He
did not. He thought it was one of the
literally as it ended, it said,
"This
is the dumbest movie ever." Granted, he was like an old guy wearing a polo shirt. His wife walked like she had a stick up her ass. So, fair enough.
What if it was his sister?
Well, they were cuddling, so that'd be kind of weird. But we're in the South, so whatever.
We're in the South, man. Kissing cousins?
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
She's my kin, but she's pretty.
She wasn't pretty. She looked like Skeletor with a stick up her butt. I'm just mad because towards the end they would not shut up.
Alright, so anyways, 10 Cloverfield Lane, pretty good. I actually was not pleasantly surprised. I kind of going into it, I thought I would probably enjoy it. I like those kind of like boiler room tension ratcheting movies about people that in claustrophobic situations.
Well, do you know what I liked about it? Because I really enjoy home invasion films.
Yeah.
Even though they were in a bunker, it kind of had that vibe of like a home invasion. Yeah,
because there's a kind of this sprinkled in there, this paranoia, and can they trust each other?
And then like sounds outside.
Yeah.
And, and just speculation and. So that's, I guess it's like a weird take on that, but that's, I guess, kept me hooked the whole time.
Yeah, and it's
good performances.
Good performances. I've always been a fan of actually Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
She was
like her
in
a lot.
Scott Pilgrim, right?
Yes, she's Ramona Flowers.
You know what's funny? For the first 10 minutes, I was like, I know her. And then when she turned to the side and still had kind of that haircut, I was like, yeah. That's
and I think she killed it in this movie. She did a really good job.
Now, who was the younger guy with the beard? I feel like I recognized him too.
Oh, what the hell was he in?
Do you know what? Was he also in Scott Pilgrim?
No. Oh, god damn it! I can't.
I'll
remember.
look it up on my phone while we talk. But he had another face, and the lead guy, I'd never seen him before, but he was amazing.
Who are we talking about? John Goodman?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
You've never seen John Goodman before?
I'm being funny. Anyway.
Terrible joke. Don't ever joke about not knowing who John Goodman is.
Hack comedian. Actually, my favorite performance by him is in Oh Brother.
He's great in Oh Brother. He's great in pretty much everything.
Because he's the Cyclops.
I think he was really well cast. I thought, like, he was a little too on-the-nose weird up front.
No.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, because they're playing against audience expectation in the sense that, like, you want to like John Goodman. You want him to be trustworthy. You want him not to be a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Because, like, kind of they kind of throw it out there, like, well, is he some kind of weird pervy guy in the beginning? And then, as the twists go on in the movie, you discover other things about him.
No, I agree. Because you said that when we got in the car, like, right away.
Well, I thought just because
I didn't agree with you.
Well, just because the reveal that, he's not that crazy. But,
Where do I know this guy from? Sorry, I'm looking at this. His name is... Hold on. It's John Gallagher Jr.
Okay.
Jonah Hex. Maybe that's...
What is he in? Oh, Short Term 12.
What was that?
With Brie Larson. About they teach those troubled kids.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's him.
Fell short movie. I didn't really like it.
I thought it was fine. It did exactly what it was supposed to do.
He's also in Jonah Hex and an episode of The Late Show with David Letterman and Pieces of April.
Oh, nice.
He's also in a movie that came out called Hush this year. Sorry. I just need to place the face.
So, like, I thought, like, if he had been more welcoming at the outset, maybe, like, it would have been more dramatic. But then I thought about it more, and I think I was wrong. Like,
no, I think you were wrong, too, because... I don't think he should have been more welcoming, knowing that she's going to wake up in shock, not knowing what's going on, and that's at first that was a good mislead. Yeah, we're spoiling this, so I can.
Yeah, spoilers.
It's a good mislead that she's chained to the wall with her brace on, which was smart of him to put the brace on the outside because honestly she should have thought, oh, I'm hurt. But I thought the mislead was good because she's handcuffed to the wall because she's going to wake up and just be crazy, It's portrayed like you wake up from a traumatic incident, not knowing where you are, you're going to freak out. Mm-hmm. So that was my first thought. And they did a really good job of not showing that she's just on a fucking mattress pad on a floor. Because at first it looks like, yeah, she's chained to a wall, but it looked like on a bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
then they pull back and you see she's just on a fucking mattress pad, stuff slightly out of reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a really good setup to me. And so I anticipated him not to be so because you're going to deal with traumatic, and then he also knew he was going to have to break to her. Well, there's toxins outside, there's whatever, you know what I mean? The build-up, I think it was fine. So when you said that, so I didn't really say anything, because I didn't really... No, I didn't agree.
No, I agree with you, because I think, it's okay that she mistrusts him in the beginning, and that sets up the mistrust. But like I said, casting John Goodman does the work for the script in the sense that, you don't want John Goodman to be a bad guy. You don't want him to be a skeezy dude.
But he usually, he is in some movie, in Bro Brother.
But he's not in the same way.
I know, but you know what I mean?
He's a parable. It's a fairy tale.
No, I understand.
I'm talking about a real threat,
no, but
to a person.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Is I think John Goodman's good at that. Being kind of you just trust him automatically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So it works against your expectation.
Yeah.
And it works, so it does that heavy lifting for the writing. The writing does not have to beat you over the head with he's a nice guy, or getting you to trust him. You kind of automatically just implicitly trust somebody like John Goodman, whether that's because we've seen him on screen for a long time and a lot of the roles Like,
or you just look at him and you're like, I want to hug him.
John Goodman's awesome. I love John Goodman.
No, I do too.
I've loved him since Roseanne. Come on.
No, Roseanne's a good show.
But yeah, I guess I don't know.
Not as Fred Flintstone, but
actually, he was a fine Fred. That movie's not great, but like he was fine. Him and Rick Moranis were great.
Anyway, so I just kind of was like dismissive of you, and I'm sorry, but I'm not because I was right.
Whatever, yo.
No, but the fact that it's like, I don't know. For me, it just felt like.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, John Goodman's just somebody you inherently trust, so it helps. Even though he's acting weird, you kind of think he's going to be, like, more heroic than he ends up being, right? I mean, like, implicitly.
Yeah.
You want him not to be crazy. So, in the middle of the movie, when you think he's actually a good person, that's just weird. Like, you feel happy. You feel good about it.
I didn't.
I did.
Can I tell you from the first reveal of the car, or his truck, I didn't trust him from then on.
But then he comes clean, though. He always comes clean. I even thought, like, at the end of the movie, he was going to justify, like...
But I don't think what he told her was true.
I think it was. I think it totally was. I don't think he had planned on anybody being there.
Or with him?
Yeah, because he was in a fucking car. He didn't know it was some young woman. Like, he didn't know that. Like...
Okay, fair.
So I think that was true.
Fair. Okay.
That he crashed into the car and... Then it was like, oh shit.
Who was that behind her at the gas station?
Was it him? Oh, maybe it was him. No, I thought it was a different truck, though.
Was it? I don't...
I thought it was a different truck.
A bigger truck?
Could be wrong.
But then why were there other people? Okay.
I thought it was a black truck.
I just saw headlights.
You might be right.
Because she also was kind of shifting, didn't feel right.
Okay, you might be right. You might be right.
Oh, I'm on a roll tonight.
Well, you're totally off base on the witch, but yes.
Oh, fuck you. We'll talk about it again. No, but I mean, that's what I took from it, was like there was that truck behind her, she felt shady about it.
Yeah. And
left, and then with a few miles in the road, got sideswiped by someone coming from the same direction in a truck.
Yeah, okay, I accept that. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this is a minutia argument, like, it's not...
No, really, I know, but that's just where my head was.
Yeah, okay.
And then and then you listen to his story, and then you kind of, like, fall into it, but then the minute she saw his truck with the red paint, 'cause she was in a red car, I didn't trust him from then on.
Okay.
And this is also coming in, like, like, in the title, there's a Cloverfield, and I'll get into my theory. But what I'm saying is, like, I thought they were going to maybe just do more of, like, a internal, like... It was just going to be, like, an amalgamation of, like, greatest fears of people.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads back to the other one. This goes into my theory about this movie, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. So continue on.
Okay, so... As, like, a flaw of the movie, I would say, is that there is not enough of the paranoia stuff. Like, them sitting with it, rather than just reacting.
Than him preaching. He kind of preaches
It's a very tight movie. Like, it's 90 minutes long, I think.
Yeah.
And, like, it goes at a pretty good clip. There's not a lot of... They don't leave a lot of time for sitting around and talking about their feelings or whatever. I think I actually did a really good job of characterization, though. Everybody gets, like, that good moment, except for maybe Mary Elizabeth Winstead, because she gets that opening where she's obviously leaving somebody that she was engaged to, and then you get this conversation on the phone. So that's about...
That she doesn't say anything, and you don't know why, and he says it was just an argument.
And her character is like, I always run from things. I'm always running from something.
Oh, she's Ramona Flowers again.
It ends up being like her strength.
She's Ramona Flowers again. Yeah. Anyway.
But their weaknesses are the things that end up saving them.
No, absolutely. But no, I agree with you that, like, it didn't drag out characters, because even in, like, I'll go back to John Goodman, like, even in the lies he tells, you find out stuff about his character, but it's not, like you said, it's not beating you over the head. You find out little things about...
They allude to a lot of creepy shit.
Oh, yeah. Allude, it's there.
Like, they basically allude that, like, he might have, like, molested his daughter, and that, like, he kidnapped this... I mean, and they flat out say he kidnapped this high school girl...
And killed her.
And locked her in the bunker and killed her, and, like, made him pretend to be his daughter that got taken away from him, that he's all torn up about.
Yeah. No, but even, like, the male character, like... What was the character's name? Beardy.
Emmett.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Like I said, I rattle these things off till we were recording. You even learn a little bit about him here and there. Just,
No, you gives you the thing, and that's his
small town
his
guy.
His fear of success or his failure to like launch or whatever ends up saving him because he lives in the town where he can go to a bunker.
But but it's also really funny if you think about it too. It's a good play off of like him and her, because like regrets. His regret was not going out, and hers was not going back in.
That's true. A good juxtaposition for sure.
It's great. No, if you think about it, like more I think about it, it's like it's really interesting because it's like I think she does regret not going back to her fiance she says boyfriend, but she left a ring, so we'll assume fiance. That's her biggest regret. I mean, she talks about, like, fashion and these things and da-da-da-da. But I think the more you watch her, she sits with it. And then that's what clicks with her. And then his was like, I hold on to this bus ticket. I should have fucking taken this full ride, Yeah. So it was this more of, like, a push and pull. And that's why they ended up bonding and working well together. And that's my read. I might be wrong. But that was my read.
Well, I never got the sense that she regretted what she did.
I do. I think once she realizes the craziness, whether she's being kidnapped or there was, like, impending apocalypse outside, whatever, I think she regrets not turning around or talking on the phone.
Well, I think that they should have, I guess, done that more, because then that would have actually made a larger point about, not being able to let go. Or, like, what is it worth living if we're fucking alone in this bunker? Like, we could have been with people that cared about us. We could have been somebody. I think that's, like, kind of the through line with all the characters.
That's what I'm getting. Well, except John Goodman.
John Goodman, no, but he wanted to be with his daughter. He wanted to be with his family. Whether or not it was for lascivious reasons or not, like,
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think it's less so with him. But that's what I was getting at, though, was like it's that push and pull. Like, she should have gone back in, and that other guy should have gone out, and that's what they live with now. It's like, they're stuck here now.
Yeah, okay.
Whether it was, like, it ended up benefiting him, it kind of. Like a shot in the face, but...
No, but I thought it was really well directed. I thought it made, like, it takes place in 3 rooms, like, and it does, or 4 rooms, and it does, like, a good job of always keeping it interesting. You never get bored.
4 rooms and outside.
Of the scenery. Yeah, and outside. The vast majority of the movie's in the bunker.
Yeah, and I think the fun thing about the bunker, too, is there's always things to look for, which is, I'm excited to watch this again, to, like, look at little things, because it seems like a movie that would lend itself to that. Like, there's little things.
Perhaps, yeah.
Like, what was that envelope with the John Goodman's character's name on it? Like, you could obviously see it was from something, but what was it from? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of shit. Like, what is this? In the, where the, the air vent is that she has to fix, or the air purifier or whatever, No, it was very enjoyable, and it's definitely something I want to watch again for those reasons. Like, because it did a good job of being really tight and getting to the point, but learning a lot. But I think there are little subtle things that might have been missed too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's my hope. I'm not just excited because I enjoyed the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
well, either way, I mean, it was a good movie. Like, it's the first directorial debut of this guy, Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
He did that short Portal movie.
Okay.
Did you ever see that with Shell?
I heard about it. I didn't.
Okay. Well, it's actually kind of like this movie echoes that a lot with the Mary Elizabeth Winstead character, Michelle. Like in terms of just like, woman trapped and trying to figure out puzzles. And, it's almost like, because we got this new generation of filmmakers, like my age and your age, that are coming up, that are, like, inundated with media from the time they're little kids, like video games and comic books. And another person that's, like, I would reference is, like, Max Landis.
Yeah.
Even if he is not working on, like, a property, like, we watched American Ultra.
I love that movie.
And I like that movie, too. But like it feels,
watching it that second time, I love that movie.
But it feels like a comic book, even though it's not.
Yeah, it's so
but that just plays to his
proclivities,
how he was raised, what he was raised around. Like that kind of style of storytelling feels like a comic book. It felt like a comic book.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't. Like it was like this game or not this game. This movie. This movie actually kind of feels a little bit like a video game, in the sense that like. Michelle's like a Cypher character. She's like your player avatar, and she's like figuring out puzzles and like navigating and listening to other characters talk, giving exposition. She doesn't actually do much. She doesn't say much in this movie. Which is a testament to her performance being as effective as it is.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
She does a lot of... I'm not saying it's direct.
I'm saying I had never even thought of that. I mean, it might be...
No, I know. That's just something I was mulling over after I saw the movie.
That's because what you like surround yourself with. You think of games and...
Well, that's the things, like, when I thought about it, like, the structure of the film and the way the characters interact with each other, because that's what I was thinking about. It's really just the characters, and that's... kind of when then I was like, oh, well, she's kind of like, she has like identifiers in terms of what her life is, but she's kind of an empty vessel. It's very easy to put yourself in her shoes.
Telltale Games, the movie, where it's like,
no,
he will remember this.
No, it's almost like more like
I'm
like
being funny,
like Portal.
I'm being funny, where it's like, Emmett will remember this.
Yeah, Emmett will remember. No, but like, because she doesn't actually say much. She does a few things, but she's proactive at the behest of other people.
And actually,
the same like conversation we're having about Hardcore Henry. Like, we've divined all these reasons why like he can't talk and he doesn't know what's going on. And he has no memory. Like, this is kind of runs like parallel to that in the sense that like she doesn't really talk. She doesn't really say much. She does things in the behest of other people. Other than, like, trying to escape, like, that first time.
Yeah, and actually most of her dialogue just kind of expedites, like, the situation at hand. Like, I found this. I saw this.
Yeah.
No, I understand. So
it's not direct, but, like, I feel like it's just there as an influence, like, in the same way that, like, comic books obviously influence somebody like Max Landis.
No, okay.
And it affects his writing.
Fair enough.
That's all I meant, yeah.
And you probably thought about that, because I didn't really know that. I actually, when we figured out we were going to go see this last night, I looked up the director, and I spent a lot of my time trying to figure out if he was related to Michelle Trachtenberg. I actually did last night.
I don't know, yeah.
They're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. I did spend time last night. I did some hardcore research last night trying to figure that out. But they're not. He is not related to Harriet the Spy, and I was very, very sad by that.
You're like, what the fuck? How many Trachtenbergs are out there?
Yeah, what?
Well, I guess, because there's not a ton to say about the movie, I suppose, other than it's like a really well-made, like, thriller.
Yeah,
well, I guess we can talk about the end.
Yeah, and, gets out, there is alien invasion. I understand, and this is where a lot of my, like, theory came in, kind of. But, no, hold on.
Well, before we
before that, but I just want
to, well, okay, so what did you think about the last 15 minutes? Do you feel it was too divorced from what the movie that had come before? Because she gets out, she sees that there's aliens, she kind of has like a showdown with an alien, a couple aliens.
I don't feel it was too divorced because, like, I think finally, even her and Emmett, before everything happens with the three of them, they do understand there's something going on.
No, I know that. No, what I'm saying is just in like tone and pace and like it turns into an action movie for 15 minutes.
No, I don't think it was too divorced because they've accepted that, and I think she's just to the point where and it kind of leads back to what we were just talking about, where it's like, oh, we're, could be stuck here, and we're stuck here instead of with people we love, and she does at one point say, and we're fucking stuck with this guy, who's like a fucking weirdo that, like, probably has molested his daughter, like, killed someone in here, has really weird tactics, like,
He's a very controlling person, yeah.
Yeah, and then at one point brings out, like, acid that dissolves bodies, and they find, like, bloody earring. You know what I mean? Like, I think they've accepted that, so I don't think it's that divorce, because at that point when she finally gets out, after seeing that, even that situation, that she could be safe and staying complicit, but she's willing to risk getting out, and then she's just ready to run at that point, realizes, okay, the world is like how he said, but it's not worth going back in there for quote-unquote safety.
Well, because she blew it up.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I think she did, like, realize that, though, and then she's like, oh, come on, like, can't catch a break, but I need to just run. So I don't think it was that divorced.
Well, what I mean I mean in divorce in the sense that, like, it feels like a different movie in the last 15 minutes. Because, like I said, it becomes an action set piece.
I'm just saying, I think it was fine. But I can see, like, where someone like the guy behind us might be like, wow, it was terrible. Like, I get it. But I thought it was fine. Because I thought it was fine.
And I said it at the top, I actually think that this like, whether or not they wanted... Because I know this movie did not start as a Cloverfield sequel. It was a script called The Cellar, And while it is mostly the same, and I think it did end with them coming out and realizing there's an alien invasion, and that was kind of the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then, like, it got into production because J.J. Abrams was like, well, I guess we could make it... maybe let's connect to Cloverfield. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think it actually, even if it was a Cloverfield sidequel, sequel, whatever you want to call it, they should not have put Cloverfield in the title because it, like, you know that something's going on from the get-go. There's never any doubt in your mind because you think the Cloverfield shit's going on.
Yeah.
Like, outside. So you're not, like, ever wondering, like are people really sick? Was there really an attack?
Paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always kind of comfortable with the fact, like, no, something's going on. Because I even think, like, I feel like I doubt this movie was called 10 Cloverfield Lane up until, like, late in its production. Because I feel like
that's fair.
There's end of the movie, she's, like, hauling ass out of the farm, and, like, she knocks over the mailbox that says 10 Cloverfield Lane. I feel like that was a reveal shot.
Yeah, and then they just...
to show, like, to hint that, like, oh, this is part of Cloverfield. The Cloverfield universe.
Well...
the one movie universe.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, I heard some people, like, kind of didn't like the last action scene.
Which I understand. Like I just said, I understand that.
She fights off a giant... It actually is almost exactly the same scene as the end of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, where Tom Cruise goes up and he throws all the grenades inside the monster's mouth.
Can I do a side about that movie?
I really like that movie.
Parts of the trailer were filmed in my old neighborhood.
Well, there you go.
In Parkville.
There you go.
I stood on the edge and watched that. One of the neighborhoods that gets blown up is right by my old elementary school.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Actually,
little known fact.
I think that is probably one of Spielberg's most underrated movies, but...
little known fact.
That's the sidebar.
Yeah. So you want to get into theories?
Yeah, okay.
I'm really
excited.
So
what's going on out there in the world that people are talking about this being connected? How is it connected?
Okay. So I think I had sort of, like, before I got home and started reading, things when we got home and stuff, I had said something to you in the car when we got in, and I kind of mentioned it at the top of our discussion. Like, I was thinking about it as in, like, series of, like, kind of encapsulating, like, the greatest fears of people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I found this article where it was talking about how this is, in a sense, like a cornetto. Kind of like Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, these are like vignette movies.
Vignette movies, well, they are, they linked it in with the Cloverfield stuff. Because honestly, too, the aliens doesn't really strike me as Cloverfield. Cloverfield's a big monster, which was probably a part of the invasion.
It feels like a retcon. Like, where they, after the fact, they're like, well, it's aliens. It's not like a monster from underneath the earth.
Yeah, right.
Whatever,
and, like,
right?
I reminded
you... I
you...
can't remember in Cloverfield whether or not, like, they were like, they're aliens. I don't think so.
That's what I was saying. I reminded you before the discussion. I don't remember a ton about Cloverfield. My first experience in theater with it was terrible. I told you about that.
Yeah.
It's actually terrible. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. Second row for a shaky cam movie.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
Fucking headache, and I just didn't pay attention because my head hurt.
And I think once you
That's what I get for getting there late, though.
I think once people got away from the the early reaction to Cloverfield's actually fine.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, and when I read that, it kind of did, like, fit into my idea where it's like Cloverfield. Yeah, there's this alien invasion, but it's gonna be like these vignette movies about like.
People dealing with it, yeah.
People dealing with it, but then also within that, like, the greatest fears of, like, humanity. Because in Cloverfield, it's, like, a group of friends, right?
Yeah.
And, like, being separated and lost and, like, and this one surviving. Being about
isolation.
And then also, just, like, I guess, like, kind of in a sense, if you think about John Goodman in the way that he's, like, kind of a bad guy, like, dealing, like, also, like, closely with, like, monsters of, like, humanity.
One of the posters says monsters come in all different
I
forms.
haven't seen it, so I'm saying I really knew nothing about this movie, so that excites me that I'm on the nose.
You're on the ball. Yeah.
But that's like when they they were like it's kind of like a cornetto, like I was saying, like that, and then when I read that I was like, oh, so maybe it is, like, that's really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, it would have been cool if it was like a reveal shot with the Cloverfield. I mean, they didn't even market it the same way as the original Cloverfield at all. Mm-hmm. Which it should have been the next Tremors movie, like I was saying. But anyway, but that's my take on it. Is it's like dealing with. So it is in the same universe, yes, and it might feel disjointed because they brought it into that universe again. But I think the cool thing about it is this universe dealing with all aspects of that, of like an invasion
of the event, yeah,
of the event,
yeah.
But then they even like in a like myopic way talk about it in different ways. Whether it's like as a group and community and like mass devastation.
You can even go broader and say that, like, you know, okay, the first one's about like what it would be like for this to happen and you lived in the city. This one's like what would happen in the country.
Right, and then where does the next one go? You know, you know, so that was my instant thought with it, and that's what made me like it even more. 'Cause I love that, like, while necessarily the movies don't, like, that's why I was saying it's kind of not a direct sequel.
It's not a direct sequel.
No, obviously.
It's like a side quest.
No, I'm just saying, obviously.
Yeah.
But I love that it brings it together in that way, where it makes you kind of think and grind your gears, but then it also separates them, too. So they're, like, separate notions, and then, but in the general sense of it, like, I might be just, like, thinking crazy, but in the general sense that it's also, it's one big picture, but then there's also, within the big picture of everything, there's these, like, little minor things happening in different dynamics.
Well, I read something, and people were like, just in the sense of this being a sequel or whatever,
right,
or a sidequel. People were like nitpicking because she has like an iPhone 6S. This can't be happening. Other people were like, how would she not know this kind of things could happen? Like, didn't they already live through the first movie? And then somebody was like, yeah, like, this takes place 9 years after. I was like, anywhere does it indicate that? Like, I think, like, the assumption is, if you go and think this is a Cloverfield movie, this is happening at the same time? Or around the same time?
Right.
Like, when they're in the bunker, like, the inciting incident being, like, this giant monster. And in the first movie, you only see the city, so you don't know if it's happening anywhere else. Right. You don't know what's going on everywhere else. So, like, the idea that people are like, this doesn't make any sense, she should be aware that crazy shit can happen in the world because of the Cloverfield monster. I was like, I think it happens at the same fucking time. Right. I know there's, like, nitpicky things you could look, well, they didn't have iPhones when the original was made. It's just like, I don't think they're paying that close attention to the continuity of this. Like you said, they're like these vignette pieces about, like, what would people do if something like this happened? And, like, so to me, like, that was kind of a frustrating point of contention I saw with some people online. I was like,
I'm glad I didn't read that, because that's stupid.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I agree. This does not need to be a Cloverfield movie. It does not need to be one. There's no reason it needs to be one. I think
it's fine.
I don't think it's a problem that it is, but it doesn't need to be. This was like, how do we get butts and seats? We'll fucking call it Cloverfield.
Hold on to your butts.
Even though Cloverfield is kind of a reviled movie. Like, I don't think it has a great reputation amongst, like, general audiences. People were very disappointed. I wasn't, on myself, because I kind of I guess I got what I expected out of it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think, but not to toot my own horn, but if you think about it my way, I think it makes it more fun.
No, it does. It is fun to think about, like, the expanse, the broader concept and, like,
because
the general universe.
Because too often we see these, like, tragic, crazy things, not even tragic, just, like, entertain these, like, thoughts of, like, fucking kaiju and needing robots, and you see all these, like, myopic instances, or even, like, Godzilla, or, not saying these are terrible movies.
Godzilla did a better job.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, 80 movies later. I'm kidding.
No, well, I mean the new one.
But do you know what I'm saying is, no, the new one's awesome. I don't care what people say. No, but do you understand what I'm saying is you can have all these, like, tragic events happening, or even, like, terrorists, or, like, things blowing up, or, like, fucking...
Yeah, you could... like, the monsters are analogous to anything.
No, and I understand usually, yeah. But no, I'm just saying, though, usually, though, with, like, movies and stories, yes, they focus on, like, one instance, and because that's the easiest thing to do. But I really think it's interesting to me, if I'm, like, right, maybe I'm, like I said, being crazy. But I think it's really interesting to take that idea and, like, run with it and be able to, like, show, like, things don't happen in a vacuum.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The more I think about it, the more excited I get, actually. Like, I really liked it. And I like it for that.
Okay.
So that's just how I feel. And like I said, the more I think about it, the more excited I get.
No, I agree. I like the idea that it's, like, bigger and broader than, like, the rest of the movie, like, the end of the movie. Like, yeah, I like... That did not bother me. I thought maybe, it's a little silly that she makes a Molotov cocktail and throws it in the monster's mouth.
No, that was awesome. Which it looked like a butt.
And it dies, like... Is that silly? A little bit. Like, yeah, it is. It is what it is. But like you said, it kind of just goes towards, like, this idea that, like, it's not just happening here. And that's actually the end of the movie.
Yeah. Because then she goes to Houston.
Instead of going to the safe haven in Baton Rouge or whatever.
It's right north of Baton Rouge.
She goes to Houston to go fight. And that's also comes together with the theme of her character arc is that, like, she's always running.
Instead of running, now
she's going to go
fight.
towards it and, like, be proactive.
Which is, like, being, like, talking about the little girl in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
She tells this, like, story about not helping a girl who's obviously being, like, kind of abused.
Yeah.
In public. Which, that's crazy, but... but she's a pussy. Until she throws that Molotov cocktail of really expensive scotch.
But even if this movie, like, was not a Cloverfield movie, it still could have done the same thing. It didn't need to be Cloverfield.
No, but absolutely. But
it's interesting that, because Cloverfield already exists, that you can, like...
attach onto it.
So people have, like, an awareness of, like...
what's going on.
The scale of what's going on, right. I guess, right?
Yeah.
So it does kind of some legwork for you.
Right, and it doesn't just kind of, like... in a sense, like, while even though Cloverfield maybe wasn't, like, greatly revered, like, it kind of allows, like, it's not just another Devastation movie. Okay. You know what I mean? It does attach on to something to where it's, like, there is an understanding of a world.
Well, because...
like you said, legwork.
There's a lot of like, indie movies. The script would have been, like, a direct-to-video indie movie if it didn't have Cloverfield attached to it. There's a ton of movies like this. Like, people in a bunker, and it's a post-apocalypse,
but that's that's exactly the point I'm making, though.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know. I'm sorry. I'm agreeing with you. So what I'm saying is, like, putting it into the Cloverfield universe gives it, like, this broader connection that people are familiar with.
Right. And necessarily...
because it does not need Cloverfield to work. Like, if this was a movie about the same movie, and at the end, the same thing happened... same thing could have happened, and it could not have been named Cloverfield. It still would have been fine. It still would have worked the same way.
But the end wouldn't have been as justified. And like I
said...
yes,
it would have. Because, like, you just, like... I mean, you may have to change some things about... well, no, you don't. No, because you could just be like, it's not a chemical attack. It's an alien invasion.
But then it would just get lumped into that pile of...
that's what I mean. There's a lot of indie movies that are like that.
Right.
That's what I meant. Like, so
I know.
Putting Cloverfield on it... gives it a little bit more of a weight, I guess.
Yeah, and I like that. Hopefully, if they do another one, it'll be in a different style to tell a different, like, perspective of the story. Like, I think that's fucking fun.
No, I think if this movie is successful...
that's like the, you know...
probably... Wright, I imagine this movie will be successful. I can't imagine this is not a high-budget movie. It does not need to make a ton of money to, like, be profitable.
Most of that money is spent on that goddamn scotch that she just torched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it is, for all intents and purposes, it's very reminiscent of, like, the Twilight Zone, or, like...
yeah.
Could have been a Twilight Zone episode, like I think somebody said. Like, it's a long, pretty good Twilight Zone episode. And it totally works in that way, too, you know?
Yeah. No, the more I think about it, I get excited.
Because I like the fact that it's, like, a theatrical movie that, like, was like that. It's kind of small, and, like... just tense and well made, and like I like that, because a lot of times nowadays the only things that like you go to the theater to see are these big bombastic, like, just mostly garbage movies. It's nice to like have a reason to go see like The Witch, see Cloverfield.
I'd say for a long time we had kind of a dry spell.
Yeah, because the only way you can get your ass off the couch is if it's like a big event, I guess. Like, and we fall victim to that as well, and I think most people are the same way.
No, I agree.
Where it's like, if it's not like giant superheroes or whatever, like, we're just not that interested. Because we're now, because of VOD and stuff, now we're like acclimated to like, well, I'll just watch it at home.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, I don't need to go to the theater to watch, you know, Short Term 12. Like, I can watch it at home. Like, why wouldn't I just watch something like that? I don't need to go to the theater to see Tangerine.
But then when no one needs to go to the theater to see Tangerine.
Oh,
I did not like Tangerine.
I thought you thought it was fun.
It was like okay, but like.
Anyways, we already did a podcast about that.
Yeah. The more I think about that movie, I get bothered. Anyway. No, I do like. I think that's what. It's been easier, I guess, to have conversations, too. It's really, like, actually getting out and, like, experiencing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I hope that that's how it's not how the world's going to turn towards back to. Everything's just going to be, like, you stay in your little house, in your little cube.
Well, I think there is a little bit of a renaissance of, like, you know, we've talked about this before, like, about, like, just being I like starved for like just adult drama. Like I need to watch things that are not genre pictures sometimes. Yeah. It's exhausting. It feels exhausting. Like everything like I watch is like all laser guns and superheroes, and it's like I was never like that. Like up until recently, because that's just I'm just inundated with it constantly, and it's just like it's nice.
Sorry, you were ahead of the wave.
It's nice to like step away from it. Like so, something like Cloverfield, even though it's a genre picture in quotes, it's not really like it's just a well-made like thriller.
Yeah,
it's nice to like go to the theater and see that and like be entertained and enjoy it. I guess.
Except for the last couple minutes when that guy would not stop talking. And then I'm reminded why I don't like going to the theater.
That's true.
I'm kidding.
It's always somebody.
It's always that one guy. But yeah.
Even The Witch, we had people talking. Didn't some people talk?
Oh, it was like the back row, which was good on them.
Towards the end of the movie.
Towards the end, they started like audibly laughing and being like, "What the fuck?" out loud. And I wanted to be like, "Fuck you." No, but I didn't.
Yeah, because people just have this hard time of like getting invested in something like how, like especially The Witch. Like, how do you not get invested in the plight of what's going on?
It's not even getting invested. It's kind of like keep your fucking opinion to yourself till you walk out the door.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, I just
they could have done better. Megan could have just yelled that. Oh, they could have done better.
What's going on? They could have been better.
Well, this is stupid, you know. But keep your opinion to yourself till you walk out. And I know that sounds like really snobby, but it's like
so what's snobby about that? Like,
hey, you're paying for an experience. Yeah. Shut up, watch it, and then talk about it. That's how I feel. That's why I get really agitated. I was getting agitated at those old people. And I shouldn't get mad at old people. But it's just, you know, because it's just like, just shut up for 2 seconds, finish the film, and then make fun of it. I don't care if you're laughing out the door while the credits are rolling. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just shut up while it's happening. Please. Just, like, silence your fucking phone. Except, I noticed, the only bad thing about those luxury theaters, I noticed, there's, like, a couple other people, like, off to my left, playing on their phone more easily because they can just like hide in the like recliner chair. Yeah. I was just like,
just watch the movie, guys.
Or you hear me the whole time as people adjust the recliner, but I don't care. I want to go back there because I'm tall.
Yeah. Probably go see Batman vs Superman there.
Yeah, because they have a like what 61-foot screen.
The Extreme Theater or whatever.
I was hoping for rumble seats, but I don't think so.
No, that's the what is it called? Like the D-box seating?
We'll find that somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll just make it.
It's mostly in just like big cities they have them.
Well.
And you have to like reserve like seats for them, and you have to like, you know, like order.
We did at the luxury theater. You had to pick your seats and.
Yeah, that was the thing there.
I actually like that though because you can see how crowded a film's going to be.
That's true.
Before you go in.
That's true.
Hey, I want to hear you idiots talk, and there's like 20 of you. Nope, not going today. Nope, there's 2 of you. Else. I'm right in that theater. But yeah.
Well, that's why we go to matinees when it's just like old people. So which generally works out fine.
Generally, they don't talk. Generally, except for today when they have sticks up their ass.
Although one time, there was like the worst. The only time I know since I've known you that I actually said something was the Evil Dead remake.
Yes.
Like there's a thing around it. This happened a few times to me, like around here, where like people will just comment like.
What's happening on the screen
as they watch it.
Actually, that guy did that a couple times to his wife. I know you're better at tuning stuff out. I'm not.
Yeah, I tune it out.
No, but I could hear him like, well, da-da-da, to her, which is like, whatever.
Well, she's a girl.
Well, at first I was like, oh, they're old. Maybe she just like doesn't understand. Maybe
she's blind.
Why the fuck is she there? Anyway, but then I thought about it. I was like, no, this guy is just an asshole. But yeah, no, didn't you say like you went with your other sister... to, what was it, the Hunger Games?
Yeah, I went with my sister Anna
to
the
that's
Hunger
a rope.
Games. Yeah, seriously. Like, she pulls out a rope and she's like, yeah, hey, that's a rope. That's a rope. I was like,
didn't you switch seats?
Anna and I switched seats, yeah, so I was sitting there. I was like, going to lose my fucking mind.
Oh, see, like,
and it was obviously like a D-bag hillbilly. Like, so it made it like, I'm just like, I don't want to start something here in the middle of like this young adult film, like a theater filled with children. Like... I'm there with my, like, 12-year-old sister.
Do you remember what happened during
the
Evil Dead remake?
They shut up.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I
always get apprehensive because my uncle is kind of the same way. I remember he, like, there was, like, one time he stood up and turned around. I think it was, like, when the Lord of the Rings first came out because he'd been waiting so long.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
No, he stood up, turned around, and was like, shut the fuck up. I've waited my whole life for this. Shut the fuck up now. Greg would do that.
Yeah.
I understand, but
well, Greg's a big guy though, so he can like pull it off.
Well, what did we see? It was A Serious Man. We went with one of my friends and saw it in the Charles Theater back home, which is like a small independent theater. I love it. And an old lady, like we sat in front of this old couple, believe it or not, and the whole time she's commenting because he had like longer hair. I don't even know if that's a man or a woman, and now I can't even see. And and he turned around, and he's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, but you really need to shut the fuck up right now." Mm-hmm. But at least he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." No, so when you finally had said something around me, I was like, "Oh no." But
it's awkward for everybody. I don't like having to be that way, but like when people are like blatantly like just speaking like they're in their living rooms.
I like what your friend's reaction had to like, wasn't someone throwing food?
Yeah. And he just like somebody was throwing sunflower seeds. It was like stadium seating. I might have told this story before.
But do it again. It's so funny.
Stadium seating, and somebody was throwing sunflower seeds, and he got hit in the back of the head. And he ran up to them, snatched the bag of sunflower seeds out of this kid's hand. He's probably like 16, 17-year-old kid. And dumped the bag on the kid's head and said, "Enjoy your movie."
That's amazing.
It was one of the baddest ass things I've ever seen.
I would have stood up and applauded your friend.
We did. No, we didn't stand up, but we were like, me and my friend Paul were like howling. Like, it was awesome.
What movie was it?
Drag Me to Hell.
What? Why?
Yeah, it was like before it started. It was before, I don't even know if the previews
What
were
did
on
the kid
yet.
do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just sat paralyzed. Like, did that just happen?
Oh, we did.
And they didn't do anything. They didn't do shit. They didn't say anything. They didn't do anything.
That's funny.
You know, watch out, kids. There's crazy people out there. But yeah, so 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Actually, go see everything we've talked about in this whole thing.
All three of these movies are good.
Well, I'm talking the trailers too. Just go see everything.
Just go see them. And then you can come back and listen to us spoil it. And not give you enough context to actually be like a review.
Yeah. That's our specialty.
Anyways, I think that's going to do. I think this is a record for us.
And it's actually all coherent. High five.
Mostly coherent.
Yeah.
It's about 2.5 hour podcast. Wow, that's some podcasting.
If you've made it this far, please leave a comment or message one of us, and you'll get a prize.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not going to tell you what is the prize.
We'll give you an e-guide for the Twilight Princess.
No, don't promise anything. Just see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see who wants to live deliciously.
Yeah. Do you want to live deliciously?
Let us know.
All right, everybody. I'm Shaun.
And I'm Sarah.
And thanks for listening. This has been My Future Husband Face Fucked podcast, episode 31. And now it's over.
Better than the Danisode.
Adios.